A big game is defined as an important objective, especially when involving risk. And there is no bigger game than what the world will witness in Glendale, Arizona today. Behind the MVP season of Jalen Hurts and this top-ranked defense, will the Eagles continue to soar all the way to the Vince Lombardi Trophy? Or will the curse of Andy Reid and the Super Bowl experienced Patrick Mahomes have these teams hunting down more championship gold? Before we discover our big game champion, the Fantasy Sports Corporation takes a look at the big game in a big way. It's the Fantasy Sports Corporation Big Game Special, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, Jazz Sportsbook, and Pro-Am Belts. And now your hosts Nikki, Chris, Elio, Eric, Jordan, and Commissioner Cooper.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Commissioner Cooper, and welcome to the Fantasy Sports Corporation Super Bowl Special. We are excited to have you here, brought to you today by Underdog Fantasy, Jazz Sportsbook, and Pro-Am Belts. Today is the big day, and we got a lot of big things to cover, so let's get it started. We'll start, of course, ladies first, Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you. Let's welcome in Nikki from Nikki Gist. Welcome in.
Thank you. Yes, I'm back fresh. I think I got like a nice tan going. So happy to be here and ready to push my professional boundaries this morning.
Absolutely loving pushing those boundaries. Today feels like an American holiday, kind of like Thanksgiving almost. We gather around with family and friends with food. And speaking of turkeys, let's welcome in Ilio Lorenzo from Average Joe Sports Podcast. Welcome in the studio, my friend.
What's up, everybody? Brooklyn is definitely in the house via South Florida. 69-degree weather morning. I am ready. I am stoked. Bring on the Super Bowl. It's not Aruba, but it's still damn good.
Ooh-wee, I like it. In fact, I love it. I hear you. All right, well, let's welcome. Look, we got the A-team of American sports podcasting in. Let's go to the face. If there's a face of it, let's go to Eric first. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
I feel welcome. I'm ready for some long touchdowns and blue Gatorade. We got the sheet of integrity here. We got all kinds of bets going. Here. Got
to love it. And if we got the face, and of course we got to go to the Hannibal of the A-team. It's Chris. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
What's up, brother? We're smoking meat here at HQ. We're ready to get going.
I am ready indeed. Listen, I'm not judging anyone today, but if I wanted to, I know somebody who is. It's Judge Jordan. Welcome into the studio, brother.
Pleasure as always, and unlike the Dallas Cowboys, I will show up on Super Bowl Sunday.
Starting out with jokes, I see. All right, well, listen, we got a big show for you guys. Like I mentioned before, we got a Jeopardy, we got a Champs or Chumps, we got basically anything under the sun. We're even covering food and entertainment. We got bets, we got ultimate DFS lineups. We're covering it all for you today. So again, a lot to get to. If you are watching, though, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And in that comment section, I see some already. We're going to get to them here in a little bit, but predict the Super Bowl score. You will get eligible to get a signed Jonathan Taylor jersey. And we're going to give that away on our halftime stream. So you want to check that out as well. Yay! All right. Well, like I said, we got a lot to get to, and Nikki's got a lot of friends waiting backstage. Let's get to the story of the 2022 Philadelphia Eagles season. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good
Fly,
morning.
Eagles, fly.
All right, Courtney, I haven't even introduced you yet. Calm down over there. Calm down.
You know it.
All right, guys. I am Nikki Gist. I am the host of Rush Hour. It's part of New York Giants Rush. So I appreciate you guys having a Giants fan in here to host the Eagles segment, right? I am pushing all professional boundaries this morning, but that is a-okay. All right, so we got Courtney Harding from The Real Deal with Courtney Harding. We have Chris and Eric from the Philly podcast, and we have Deke from Santa Booed First podcast. How are you guys feeling this morning?
Confident.
Happy?
Yes. Excited.
Nervous, scared, excited, want to throw up? What?
Excited, nervous, anxious, all those things. Yes. all those things. So, but ready to roll.
I didn't fall asleep at 3 o'clock.
Have you guys started drinking yet?
No, not yet. A little too early, but yeah.
The beers are ready and cold, but they're not going down yet.
I still have my kids' soccer game to go to at 11 a.m. So
okay. All right. So do you guys live in Philly? Courtney, I know you do.
Yep.
Yeah, I live in Philly as well.
Yes.
Northeast Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm in Northeast Philly also.
Okay.
West Philly.
All right. Gonna be battle tested today. All right. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's go back. Let's take it back to preseason. Let's take it back to summertime, right? And in fact, I did Courtney's podcast and we did a little prediction show. And I did predict. So one of the things people always like to say about me is I'm a biased fan. I always talk about the Giants. My podcast is about the Giants, but I think that I can take my bias out of it. I did predict the Eagles to win the division. I thought Jalen Hurts was going to have a great shot at MVP. Obviously, we all know Mahomes won it last week, but take me back to the summer. What was the sentiment around that team? Was it like, this roster is stacked, I feel like this is their year? Or was it like, you know what? I don't know. We have so many holes to fill. What was kind of like going on in the fandom and the team wise, thinking about the summer and as we're entering into the beginning of the season?
Whoa, who wants to go first?
Well, here, I'll go first.
Jump in. Yeah, go, Chris.
Right.
Go.
I'll go first. So, I was not a fan of Jalen Hurts. I was completely wrong. I have no problem admitting that. We did a live show for the draft, and my reaction to the AJ Brown trade is kind of when it sucked me in that, all right, the Eagles are going all in. Like they just went all in. They got him the number one receiver that we've been clamoring for. Tyreek Hill got traded, and then everybody else. You saw all the moves that were happening. I'm like, maybe they don't believe in him, because there was that chatter of Russell Wilson and unfortunately Deshaun Watson. There was a chatter going on, and me and my co-hosts were like, if it's going to cost you 2 first-round picks to get Russell Wilson, maybe you kick the tires, and they did, and thank God they didn't because he forgot how to play football. But they go and they make the trade on draft day for AJ Brown, who they're best friends, and that was right there. When I thought that they had a really good chance of being competitive, I said that the Eagles would finish number 2 in the division. It was Dallas's division to lose, and that I told Eric will tell you, don't be surprised if the Giants surprise a lot of people. Brian Daboll is a really good coach, and he's going to surprise some people. And but that AJ Brown trade is what solidified me and brought me on board. And I've never been so happy to have been wrong about Jalen Hurts than I am right now.
Yep. That was my thoughts exactly. Like, I was hating on the kid last year. I really was.
Really?
I thought, yeah, I was like one of the guys with the noodle arm. He can't read the defense. I was like, please prove me wrong. Do the work in the off season. And you talk about eating pie. That's me, man. I'm like Chris said, that trade for AJ Brown. Okay, fine. They decided to go with a top receiver. They gave him a true weapon because at the time they'd only signed Zach Pascal. And I said, well, that's nothing. That's nobody. Mm-hmm. And well, now we know where we're at.
Amazing what a true wide receiver can do, right?
Right.
Hoping we get one of those this in the off season. Hoping for it. All right, you guys want to jump in, Courtney? Deke? Well, how are you guys feeling like coming into the season? Was it the draft that solidified it for you, or were you kind of like, let's wait and see how September goes? Because those first 4 weeks aren't always like the best football, but.
Yeah, I was optimistic. The thing is, when they got AJ Brown, I was like, okay, they're trying to go all in. And what I predicted, I said they'll win 10. I said the most of 11. That was like being very optimistic. 11 wins. I didn't expect 14 wins. I did not expect that at all. But, once the season started rolling and everything too, it's like, okay, this feels a little different. This feels like they can actually contend for at least a deep run in the playoffs. And once they got rolling and they were winning games from, however they was winning games close, they were blowing teams out. They were winning on defense, when offense, even when the offense stunk, they still were finding ways to win. So, in the beginning, I was like I said, very optimistic, but I didn't think that it was going to go like this at all. Now, with the Jalen Hurts thing, yes, I was still a fan, but it was like I just wanted to see him improve. I wanted to see just the progression and see what he did, because he talked about his, we know he worked hard, but it was more of, okay, he had no accuracy, he couldn't throw the deep ball accurately and everything else, but he just needs some weapons. So then he got his weapons, and like you said, here we are. So yeah, we're Super Bowl bound, so I'm excited. But it was one of those things like you just wanted to see if they could actually just get better, and that was my prediction, just to be better. I didn't expect a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I was rooting so hard for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
he's such a really likable guy. I mean, there's no strikes against this guy whatsoever, and just like everyone else, I wanted to see marked improvement on him from last year. And I knew he was the type of guy that would go out and do the work. He would put the work in to make himself better. And then when they got A.J. Brown, that was fantastic. He already had, of course, he had the offensive line in front of him to protect him. He had the skill players surrounded him. And then they just went and got that top-notch receiver. And as the season progressed, I felt really confident that this kid was going to really make a much improvement from last season. And we had the obligatory go through the schedule before the season. Yeah. And everybody on the show, we had them at least at 11 wins for the season. And we have it on tape, and we have notes for the show. Myself and my son actually picked them at 14-3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You gotta find that clip, and you gotta be petty like me, because I predicted the Giants at 9 wins, and everyone was like, "You guys are crazy." And I dug back in my podcast archive and clipped it, and I posted it up there. All right. So Jalen Hurts, is it Super Bowl win or bust for him? Is he the guy going forward? Is it gonna be like, if you guys don't win, is he going to get all the blame, even though we know this is a team game and he's not the guy? But if you win the Super Bowl, he is the guy. Or is it, no matter what, this is our guy going forward?
He's QB1. He's a QB1.
He's QB1.
He's the guy going forward.
There's no debating about it. His character, his leadership, it's all there. Like, if you go back and just look at the season, and Eagles fans can look at it, the guy never smiled. He was never satisfied, and you actually saw him smile at the end of the NFC Championship game. And I turned around to my wife, I said, it's actually good to see this kid smile. Like, he puts the work in, and he actually cares, and he cares about his teammates. And it's hard to see that in today's game, just the way we all know how today's players are. Not all of them are the same, but he shows that he cares about his teammates.
It's nice to have somebody who cares as much as we do playing for us.
Yes.
Yeah, and his teammates enjoy playing with him too. You can tell, like, he rallies up the guys. He's a leader, and that was always him coming into the NFL. He's got great leadership skills. He works hard. It was just the intangibles that was always questioned, but he's proven it just in this one season, just in these last 2 seasons, that, like we talked about, the progression of how he is. But he's definitely QB1. I think Nick Sirianni seemed like he loves him too, and he's playing on his rookie deal, his rookie contract. So he wins the Super Bowl. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. The money's coming, and it's like, he's gonna, but he's definitely earned it. And he was playing MVP football all season until he got injured late in the year. The MVP thing with Mahomes deserved it. Not gonna say he didn't, but Jalen Hurts only get 1 vote. That's out of 50. That's insane.
That's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. It's a huge disgrace. He missed 2 games, but we've seen what happens when he didn't play. The Eagles, they go 0-2. So it's like, So I really believe, he's definitely QB1 moving forward. Win or lose, he's gonna get paid.
Yeah. So, Eric, let me ask you, right? So the season's going on and the Eagles are slowly remaining undefeated, right? With the exception of, that a couple games there. But so what is that? Because I don't know what that feels like, right? So do you want that loss to come to kind of just get it over with? Or you're having flashbacks of like '07 Patriots, right? Like, oh my God, is that loss going to come in the playoffs in the Super Bowl? Because it becomes apparent that the Eagles are just, you guys are rolling, right? You're going to win the division, making the playoffs. It's a super talented team. So how do you feel? I mean, going undefeated, like you want that loss or you just want to like hope and pray and keep rolling?
I can honestly tell you that and I've said it on our show, I wanted a loss somewhere along the line because I didn't want, we're not the Patriots. It's like I could tell you there was a difference between that team. You can tell that they had something really special. This Eagles team, as special as they are, they're not a dynasty yet. Let's put it that way. You could say yet. I mean, but I don't get that feel from them. And I was never more happy to see that loss against Washington because I was in the building for that one. I saw that and I was like, thank God. I hated the fact that they lost and I didn't like the way that they played. But I was walking out of there. I put my head down. I looked at my buddy and I said, they got it out of the way. Yeah. I said, they got that loss out of the way. I said, it's now. It's not too late. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not right at the playoffs. And I said, oh, now they know that it feels like they're taking out. I said, so now they can regroup and just continue forward. And yeah, I for one wanted to see one just to kind of level it out.
Yeah, just get it over with.
Because we're not used to that here, to be honest with you. We're really not used to that kind of stuff. So I was like, in the back of my mind, something was going to happen. And they took the L and they didn't have any major injuries, nothing like that. I was happy. I was happy for that loss, as sad as that is to say. But I was like, okay.
It's all right. Did you guys all kind of feel like that? I know, Courtney, you're kind of like in the middle there too. Like, I just kind of want to maybe get this loss. Like, that does suck being in the building for a loss. I was, I'll never forget being at MetLife Stadium for the Deshaun Jackson return, right? Where I thought we were going to win and we didn't. Oh yeah, that was heartbreaking. But I mean, you guys can just jump in real quick before we talk about the matchup. Did you want that loss to come or did you want to just keep rolling?
I just wanted to keep rolling, to tell you the truth. I just, when they're winning games, you're excited. But like Eric said, you just look like, okay, when is it gonna happen? It's like when that other shoe gonna drop, and you're on a roll, you're on this high, and you're excited as a fan or who covers it. But you're like thinking the way they lost to Washington, I didn't like the way they lost because they still had a chance to win. Going into that game, they only had 3 turnovers as a whole team. So you knew it was like, okay, there's going to be one of those games where they're going to turn the ball over. And that was the game they had 4 turnovers. And it was just seemed like it was very uncharacteristic. It was a weird game. Like Washington held the ball for so long. But the Eagles, they bounced back. And that was one of the resilience of this team. They bounced back from that loss. And Jalen Hurts, like we said, he doesn't take losses. He doesn't take them lightly. He goes in there, he's all business. And he said, you know what? We didn't play our best. We'll keep it moving. And they addressed a lot of the issues that they had, a couple of issues they had, the run game, the defense of the run game. They couldn't stop the run. And that seemed like that was a blueprint of, how to beat us. But it just, they addressed it. Howie Roseman addressed all that. So, yeah, I knew a loss was coming, but I just didn't want to see it.
Yeah, I'm with him. Like, I wanted them to keep rolling, and a loss is a loss. It's how they lost that really irritated me. I'm like, because they were not the better team on the field. Washington, in my offense, they were not. Quez Watkins drops that wide. Well, not wide open, but he catches the ball and then he fumbles, just going to the ground. It was, and Jalen Hurts didn't have a bad game. The entire team had a big game. And Jalen Hurts was probably the best player in the field, in my opinion. But it was how they lost. It was mental errors and it was the turnovers. Like I said, I sat there and said, Washington didn't win that game. Philadelphia lost that game, in my opinion. And I think with that, if they don't lose that game, in my opinion, they might go to Dallas and probably lose on Christmas Eve. Because I think they were just rolling. They were just killing teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was always on the fence during the season about it. You want to see history. Yeah, you want that undefeated thing and see the history that goes with it. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, you're like, oh God, if we go undefeated and they have that first loss in the playoffs, that's just going to really suck.
Right? That was tough.
Yeah.
Especially against the Giants, right? If they would have happened, right?
Oh, that would have been
Exactly.
great.
Well, I was on the fence about it all season long.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I only hope that one day I can relate to that. So I really got a few minutes left here. Let's get into the matchup before I get your guys' predictions. So listen, we got a really potent Chiefs offense going against this stingy, Philadelphia defense that's always good and it annoys me. And I would really love for Fletcher Cox to just retire at this point. I can't take
What
it
about
anymore.
Boston Scott?
I mean, you guys, listen, you have 4 players that racked up 12 sacks or more in one season, just like the talent, and even as a Giants fan, I'm watching that Giants-Eagles game. Just the talent gap is so wide. So credit to the Eagles there for doing what they needed to do to build up this roster, right? So we're looking at this matchup. Chiefs, obviously, they're going to have to neutralize that Eagles pass rush, right? What's Andy Reid going to do? That delayed screen to running back? I'm sure the Eagles are going to be ready for that. They're going to have to challenge Jalen Hurts, right? Take away those quick passes that he thinks he's going to have when they start to blitz. And then the Eagles, of course, going to have to give considerable attention to Travis Kelce. So let's just quickly go around the room as quick as we can because we have a few minutes left. What do you guys think about this matchup? What's sticking out to you? What should you be concerned about, or are you feeling great about it? Courtney, you want to kick it off? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm feeling pretty confident in the win. I think it's going to be a nail biter throughout, though.
Yeah.
And as far as us shutting down Kansas City, we got to make Mahomes uncomfortable all day long. I'm not too concerned about their wide receivers. It's Kelce that's going to be the problem. If we can limit his damage, I think we have a good day on defense and we get the W.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm with Deke. Like, if you can limit Kelce, we're fine. Like, I'm not scared of Kadarius Toney. I'm not scared of Valdez Scantling. The Eagles did not give up a lot of yards after the catch, and that's where it's going to be. Patrick Mahomes needs to play a perfect game to win this game. Jalen Hurts doesn't. That's the X factor. If you think about it, Jalen Hurts doesn't need to play a perfect game. He needs to play a good game because of the way our team is built and how we run our offense.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on board with these guys with
Really?
the same thing. Yeah, it's like they're underrating the Eagles defense. And I think Hassan Reddick is going to have a monster game. I think that snub for Defensive Player of the Year is really, really factoring into his play coming out of the NFC Championship game because he had a heck of a game. I'm confident. I think that they're going to get to Mahomes. I think they're maybe aggravate that high ankle sprain. I think they're going to pop him a few times.
All right. Oh, all right. All right, Courtney, give it to me. No concerns so far. This is just Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Kelce is it. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned with Mahomes because even with a bum ankle, 80% Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
He just proved against the Bengals. I think when they play Cincinnati, Mahomes was thinking, oh, you guys are talking about Joe Burrow, you guys are talking about Josh Allen. Let me show you I'm still the best quarterback, the best player in the league.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned with that, but I think the Eagles will put that pass rush, as you talked about, Nikki, that, they had an unbelievable sack, just getting so many sacks and historically.
Yeah.
So they're going to pressure Mahomes, I think, with that front four, and they're going to keep pressure. I think that's one of the keys to just keep pressure on him and make him move on that ankle, see how much he is. I don't think he's not healthy at all, but you got to make him move. And let's go back to the Tampa Bay, Kansas City, when they just kept pressuring Patrick Mahomes so many times. The Eagles got to do that same thing. They got that same blueprint, just pressure him against that offensive line. And like you said, I think Jalen Hurts, he's the X factor always because he can beat you with his legs or his arm. And if he has one of those games and he gets that running game going, and then the RPOs and all that, I think the Eagles win. It's going to be close, but I think the Eagles got to jump ahead first. They've been doing all year, get a 14-0 lead, and put the Chiefs on their heels. And so I think the Eagles do win, though.
All right. So no one's concerned about the Andy Reid factor, huh?
No, I'm not.
No.
I mean, I love the guy, but no.
He gets all week to prepare, and we all know his in-game adjustments are not that good. He's terrible with time clock management. It's proven. It's history. It's not even like it's an opinion. It's his history.
Yeah, he's a ballsy coach, though. We've seen him. We've
is.
seen him have some big ones here over the years, and you know.
So Sirianni.
So
Sirianni.
Yeah. So I know we got the Andy Reid Bowl. All right, guys, we are down to about a minute left. Let's go around. Eric, kick us off. Give us your prediction, your score, and are you betting this game? Right? I think Eagles are favored. Is it still 1.5?
I think it's still 1.5.
Okay.
I'm not a betting guy.
Okay, all right.
That's why I don't get paid for this stuff.
All right.
Me too.
It's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles come out on top, 31-27.
All right, Deke, what do you got for me?
I'm looking at a 26-24 win with Jake Elliott kicking a 60-yarder to win it.
Bold predictions. Let's go.
Awesome. Okay. Watching that Nets and Sixers game didn't put anything on my heart. Now I got to watch a 60-yard field goal win the Super Bowl.
What do you got, Chris? You got a score?
The 31-24 Eagles. It could also be a quick, touchdown. Touchdown by the defense. As the Chiefs are driving towards the end of the game. 38-24.
All right, Courtney. I mean,
27-20. I said it. From the beginning when the teams got together. So when they, so I'm going 27-20. Like I said, I think the Eagles jump ahead early, and they'll make Patrick Mahomes have to beat them with the pass. And the Andy Reid factor it's a little concerning, but because of the experience. But I think the Eagles pull it together, and we get a parade on Broad Street again. Let's go.
Are you all going to be out there climbing on light poles and
I ain't doing all that. No,
I'm too old for that.
This crazy stuff that
I'm too old for that stuff.
No,
you're not doing it. Okay, all right. You guys excited for Rihanna though, right? Everyone's excited to see Rihanna, right? No. Yeah,
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Riri's back. Yes.
Can we have last year's halftime show?
Was it J-Lo, right? Was that J-Lo?
No, that was Mary J, Dr. Dre.
Oh, that was good. That was so
That
good.
was awesome.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys being here. I will professionally wish you luck, but I am rooting against you today. Obviously, I am a big Chiefs fan. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Before we get to the Chiefs segment with Elio, we have the Judge Jordan Award. So he is giving out the parolee award. I do not know what that is, but we are about to find out. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you, guys.
Go
Birds.
Go Birds.
All rise for the Honorable Jordan C. Thomas.
You may be seated. This court is now in session. Today, we aren't here to bring anybody to the stand. We are here to celebrate recovery and rehabilitation. And in this court of law, we believe in nothing more than a good rehabilitation project.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
For the 2022 season, the following players were nominated for the Judge Jordan Parolee Award for NFL Fantasy Comeback Player of the Year. We have Josh Jacobs, running back of the Las Vegas Raiders. We have Geno Smith, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. We have Saquon Barkley, running back of the New York Giants. And we have this year's Judge Jordan Parolee Award presented to none other than Christian McCaffrey, who brought in a whopping 54% of the overall fan vote. Mr. McCaffrey, you have been an example of what happens to somebody who takes this court's advice and runs with it and turns themselves around. You have hereby been rehabilitated. You have hereby been restored, and you have hereby been awarded the Judge Jordan Parolee Award. This court is adjourned.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk in the Big Show, and I have the pleasure to hit and break down the AFC side of it. Thank you, Nikki. She killed it. It takes a lot of swallowing for us Giants fans to sit down with the enemy and break bread. Anyway, with me, I have the pleasure to have join me Chief Kingdom is going to be in the house. First of all, started with Tisha C., all right, co-host of a show divided with Shapeback Media Group, JP from ChiefFocus.com, Lance from the Spoken Podcast.
KC Masterpiece. Or you just ain't eating barbecue.
Oh, I hit it.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Thank you for joining us and coming on board.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
How you doing, man?
Good. How excited are you all, everybody, right now for this?
Crazy excited.
Yeah. It's like out of 10. Let's go.
Right now, I'm a Giants fan, so I am rooting 100,000% for you guys right now. You know what I mean? First and foremost, that's why I'm so happy that I'm doing this segment. Why don't we get started with some of this conversation, because we have a limited amount of time. But first and foremost, with all the offensive changes you have last year, especially the big one, right? Losing Tyreek Hill to Miami. Were you absolutely thinking with the new additions to the team's offense, with Juju and everybody else and MVS, that you were going to be in this position, and why?
Who wants to go first?
Ladies first. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, me first? Oh, goodness. Yeah, so I'm not going to lie. I cried. I was really upset. I was like, oh, my God, no. I mean, look, it's evident that, we all appreciated his talent and his time here in KC. But here's the thing. I'm a huge trust process. Just trust process. Yeah, I don't know. I think we did okay. Here we are. Am I nervous? Yes, but I think we're gonna do all right. Losing Tyreek Hill was huge, though. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Yeah, I cried hard.
Well, I have to say, we actually said on our show in the beginning of March that we were told we were going to lose a key starter, and we all assumed that it was going to be Chris Jones. To be honest, we had no idea. They would not tell us who it was, so we just went with Chris Jones. We didn't ever fathom that it was going to be Tyreek Hill. When we found out, okay, it's Tyreek Hill. I mean, honest to God, when we found out what we were getting in draft picks and who we were bringing in, because of all the issues that we had in the past with bringing in wide receivers because of Tyreek Hill, we were okay with it. Honest to God, we were actually okay with it. And I was thinking, okay, I'm not as upset as I thought I was going to be. After it sunk in for the first hour, 2 hours, maybe a day, I was okay with it. And it went, it was pretty smooth. I mean, I'm okay with this year. We actually had more production on the season. The season was a better season all around because, we spread the ball out further. We hit 10 different wide receivers in any given game. I'm just not upset with this season. Yeah, he had 1,700 yards, down there, and I'm happy for the guy. I'm glad he's doing well, but we're in a better position. I feel like we're actually hitting our stride, so I'm not upset.
There's something to be said about a special player like Patrick Mahomes. Go ahead, Tisha.
I was just going to say we're here and he's not, so
Exactly. He's on the couch and we're not.
Absolutely. There's something to be said about a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. To me, he's the next up, right? Brady has retired. We know right now he's the greatest of all time. But currently, since he stepped into the league and became a starter, he is the best quarterback. The dude is built different. And there's something to be said about his skill set that he's able to make work. Outside of Kelsey, we know what Kelsey been doing over his career. That's the number one dude. Wide receiver numbers. You got a bunch of plumbers. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a knock against those guys, but it's Patrick Mahomes' greatness that's able to deliver the ball in places where all these other tools, Juju, MVS, Hardman, all right? I'm a Giants fan, so I'm not a big Kadarius Toney fan. I'm glad you guys got him. But there's something to be said about what he makes with Jerry McKinnon, that offense, and how he's able to work with what he has. He's such a great talent that he makes a lot of these guys special as well.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people say things without taking into context that any given player in the NFL could not be great in another system. Players don't always fit within a system. They or in the NFL for a reason. He may not have fit, Tony may not have fit within the Giants system, but he fit within ours. He's done great things with us within the time that he's been on the field, and he picked up Andy Reid's playbook within a very short period of time. So when you really take that into consideration, I mean, Andy's playbook is a freaking Stephen King novel. And if you can pick that thing up within a 3-week period, I mean, he didn't pick the entire thing up, but he picked it up fairly quickly. He's actually a very good player. I mean, he's over 900 yards on the season, and he was injured. Twice. So you really can't complain. Mahomes makes everybody better. He's proven that since his first year as a starter. I mean, he got Wilson and Conley paid after their first season in the league. And yes, they went downhill afterwards, but it was because of Mahomes. It's that simple. Tisha?
How do I even follow it up? Yeah, that was well said. Very beautiful. Hold on. Look, I have to give a little bit of credit to the Mahomes magic, which is, I think, what you didn't quote, but I am going to say now, it's Mahomes magic. I mean, it's the ability to just make it happen. Who are we throwing to? It really doesn't even matter. Like, we have to, and he has that ability to just make it happen. It's the it factor. He has it for sure.
He is special for sure. He's special for sure. I'm a big fan of Patrick Mahomes. Great all-around player. Has complete tools that I think you've seen in other players combined. He is like a mixture of a bunch of different quarterbacks generationally. What do you think? Let's go up here next. What do you think are the key factors for the Chiefs? Give me 2 key factors that the Chiefs have to execute to perfection in order to be successful today and beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl and get their second. And Mahomes and the Chiefs get their second championships in what, 4 years more or less, or 5 years?
Keisha?
Oh no, I don't want to go first. You go first.
Go ahead, JP.
You know, they just have to execute. They have to execute on all sides of the ball. You know, just being consistent, just doing what they do. If they continue to do what they've been doing on defense, you know, getting to the quarterback, which I think they can. The one thing that I will say, listening to that first segment, it was almost a slap in the face to a degree. I understand they're Phillies fans, and that's what they do. They like to slap people in the face. The one thing I will say is that they haven't faced a team like the Chiefs all season long. They've had it somewhat easy to a degree. They haven't faced an offensive line like ours. They definitely haven't faced a Chris Jones. They haven't faced any defensive line like ours. If we continue to do what we've done, you know, average a sack and a half a game, continue to put pressure on, continue to bat balls down, our rookies, our 4 rookies in the backfield, continue to dominate the top wide receivers in the league, which obviously we've beaten all the top wide receivers in the league. We'll win this game. It's fairly simple. That's what we do to win. I don't know what else to say. We just have to continue to keep pressure on.
Go ahead, Tisha. Give us your take.
Put him in the dirt. Oh, our defense has to step up. I mean, it has to be Chris Jones has to wake up. Let's go. Let's play. Other than that, we have to stop their run game. In saying that, if we can just pull off a little bit of Mahomes magic, I mean, Mahomes to Kelsey, Mahomes to whoever, it doesn't even matter. It's going to come down to, I think, in the moment. And I don't know, maybe not you, sorry, maybe you, but we've seen Mahomes shine. I will never forget being down 20 points in a playoff game and freaking out. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I mean, that's what we have to do. We just have to play like the Chiefs play. So if we can do that, we're golden. But yeah.
Well, I tell you this, Jones is woke. It took 1 sack in the playoffs to wake him up, and he's awake. And I got to tell you, the shun that he got in the MVP honors woke him up. He's pissed. And that's all it takes.
Can I just say I love everybody that wants to pick the Eagles. Keep picking. Let's go. That's fuel to the fire. That's what makes us great.
That's the vibe that I feel in the Super Bowl. Everybody's like overlooking Patrick Mahomes because of the injury. And I was one of those guys against the Bengals, right? But again, because of the injuries, because of the, on paper, they're not as talented, right? Position player wise as Philly, right? And then Philly does great defense, the run game, all that kind of stuff, which I think I agree with both of you. The run game needs to be stopped. I think on the defensive side, you need to make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. All right?
Exactly.
Shut down the run. And that's the only way. Jalen Hurts is vastly improved year over year, right? Big addition to that is he worked his ass off in the offseason, but also you have a great 50-50 guy back there in A.J. Brown, right? You could force him in an uncomfortable position, which the 49ers kind of did. They just didn't have the quarterback to stay there. And if you looked at that first 2 quarters, they made him uncomfortable in the pocket from a passer standpoint. I think that's huge, a huge key factor. And after that, like you said, let Mahomes be Mahomes and do Mahomes things, right?
Hey, absolutely. I mean, when you've got a one-legged quarterback that is throwing to, a guy that's had more tackles than he's had catches in his career, and he still puts up 326 and 2 touchdowns, come on, man. I mean, honestly, all this talk about how great the Eagles' defense is, but who have they actually gone up against? The 2 teams that had great offensive quarterbacks and offensive players in general, and great defenses for that matter, they got 40 put up on them, 33 put up on them. 3 teams, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I took some notes, by the way. The Eagles, for some reason, their podcast group that was in that first segment, they weren't scared of our wide receivers, and they definitely weren't scared of Tony. The only person they were scared of was Kelsey. And if they shut Kelsey down, that's all it takes. Well, if you shut Kelsey down, that leaves everybody else open. And if they think for 1 second that Andy Reid doesn't have something up his sleeve, I don't know what to tell him. He coached there for 12 years. They know what he does. Another thing they assumed was that Andy still has clock management issues. I don't know about you. Have you watched any Chiefs games lately?
Yeah.
Have you seen any clock management issues of late?
No, I mean, Andy's one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean,
I don't know if they're sleeping still or if they forgot. Maybe they just don't get Chiefs games out there. They don't have direct TV now, and maybe the YouTube situation's not working out there. I don't know what's going on.
Was it the snow globe? Is that what they called it? The ring around
ring around the rose. I mean, honest to God, those players make up that shit on their own. That's something that these players make this stuff up, man. I mean, and Andy flows with it. These are things that nobody seems to really take into consideration. We have a team that has played the first 9 weeks of this season. We had the toughest schedule in the NFL, and we rolled through it. I'm not concerned. What I am concerned with is the hype. I think the fact that I'm not saying the Eagles don't have a great defense. I'm not saying that. I just think that they haven't played anybody of our caliber yet. They haven't played a Mahomes. Yes, they played a Dak. Where's Dak at right now? They played Daniel Jones. They played, what was his name?
Brock Purdy.
Well, yeah, for a minute.
Yeah.
And then they played
Josh Johnson afterwards.
That's his name.
And Christian McCaffrey was the quarterback at one point also, so they had
exactly. And then, of course, they played the San Francisco defense, which we beat as well. So they really haven't beat anybody in the playoffs that is a full caliber football team. So and we also beat the Eagles earlier in the season. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think they're taking they're taking too much for granted at this point. I don't know if they're really considering what they're going up against. Unless it's just hype for themselves. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm not really concerned with the game today as much as everybody else is. I feel pretty confident.
Philadelphians are very confident fans. Trust me, I know from experience. All right, I lived real close to that state for a very long time, and rooting for the Giants, we get a lot of that. So
I was rooting for you guys this year, man. I really was.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, let's go on and let's do some picks. Let's get fun over here. Let's do some predictions. All right. I want you to give me a quick breakdown because we're about to short out of time here soon. Pick your winner, which I know who he's going to be, but give me your final score and your MVP, and just add one more for good measure. Give me a surprise player that's got to step up end is going to be the difference of that game, right? You always have in the Super Bowl like the James Whites of the world who's going to rush for 2 touchdowns, right? And coming out of nowhere, right, with a great player like Patrick Mahomes, leading the team. Yeah. Give me your take on that. Who wants to go first?
Keisha, you want to go?
Go ahead, Tisha.
Sure. Okay. Well, Chiefs, obviously, by a million. But if you want me to actually give you a number, I hate to do this. I usually don't do this, but I want to say 27-24. Kelsey, obviously, I would think could be MVP. Come on. But a surprise player, let's do Pacheco.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Pacheco. Yeah, Pacheco could be that one. I think this is going to be a little higher scoring game. I don't know why. I just feel like it could be. I think I'm going to go. Originally on my show, I think I went 34-27. But after the week went on, I think I'm going to go 34-24 Chiefs. And as far as MVP goes, most likely it's going to be Mahomes. But if I have to pick somebody that's going to be a breakout player, or the surprise player, I should say, I'm going to go with Jody Fortson.
Wow, yeah.
I think Jody is probably going to show some people some things. I feel like Andy's got some plays made up for him right now to put some people on check. And I think that might happen. I think he's going to be the guy that hasn't been in all season that's going to put some people on standby.
Absolutely. Tisha, to your point, I like your score. That's actually my prediction. I'm thinking 27-24. It's going to be, one of those back and forth. I think, and people forget about Andy Reid, like you said, right? This guy has done it for so many years at such a high level. And advantage coaching definitely goes to the Chiefs side. You cannot just dismiss that, right? That's part of football. It's not like, basketball where one player takes over and forget coaching, right? The guy just got hot and scored 90 points. Jordan did it for many, many years. LeBron James. Completely different game. You need coaching. You need plays. You need clock management. You need everything else. They forget how important that is, especially on a big game. Definitely love 27. I'm with you with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to ball out. I think Patrick Mahomes has such a chip on his shoulder because he lost to Tom Brady a couple of years ago. Yeah. And the way he's been dismissed and disrespected this season, because he won the MVP, man, all right, with losing one of his best weapons since he's been in the league, right? And then, he's been consistent, making to the Super Bowl 3rd time around now, winning games, getting to the playoffs, championship. The man feels disrespected, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to come here bowling the F out, and he's going to do his. So that's why, to me, perfect pick. Love the Jody Fortson pick there as a surprise player. Why? Because, like you said, Andy Reid's going to make something happen with some type of formation where people are going to get off and you're going to be surprised. I'm going to throw in there Marvel Scantley, right? I think, you brought him into what he's doing, what he's supposed to be doing, right? You're expecting what he's doing. That's what he is. He's not a main key guy. He's just a piece. He's a glue. He goes in there. He's going to perform for you whenever you need him. I think MVS might have a big game today.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, everybody assumes that, especially within the kingdom, certain amount of people assume that certain, like MVS, he's a great example. Well, he hasn't done his job all year long. No, he's done exactly what he's supposed to do. Everybody's a piece to this. Everybody's a piece to the puzzle. It's not just one guy does everything like Tyreek did. That's when you become predictable. That's why this puzzle's in place right now. Because after 4 years, we became predictable. It is what it is. We all knew that in the 2020 season. Mm-hmm. We became predictable. We got to the Super Bowl, yes, we did. But we were predictable in that situation. That's why, we had no offensive line. But Kelsey, Tyreek, we knew where the ball was going. Now you'd have no clue. And experience, getting to your point, experience is everything. We've been to 5 straight AFC Championship games, hosted 5 straight, 3 Super Bowls now. Experience is all. It's the key to this entire game. And when you've got a head coach and a quarterback and basically a lot of this key team that has been to 3 Super Bowls, compared to a team that has 2 or 3 players that's been to a Super Bowl, no coaching staff, no quarterback, I'm sorry, but it's experience is a key factor in this game as well. So
I feel that's why it's unreal that the Super Bowl has that vibe of they're getting overlooked the Chiefs side so much
Yeah.
that it's going to be one of those things, just like the Bucks and against you guys. You guys were in the other shoe, right? Everybody was going that route, and boom. I think we might see that kind of magic.
I agree.
Tonight. So,
I agree.
thank you very much. I appreciate you all coming on tonight. And, you know, I'm ready. I'm stoked. Again, Chiefs Kingdom is in the house. I am rooting for them 100%. Teacher, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right. And all right, make sure we check all these guys out, their social medias and stuff. It's going to be tagged to the post. All right. Before we move on, all right, we are it is time for a second award, the Phlanders Phlop Award, the most anticipated award out of this show of all time. But before that, we gotta hear a word from our sponsors at Underdogs Fantasy. Let's go, Chiefs.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code TSS to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for me, Penn Flanders, to introduce to you my award for the 2022 Phlanders Phlop of the Year award. The nominees are Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, and Joe Mixon. And the winner is Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. All right, that's it, folks. He is our 2022 Flop of the Year. I hope everyone had a great football season. And as always, go Birds.
All right, what is up, everybody? Super Bowl Sunday, biggest game of the year, or the ultimate matchup, as some people would say. Before we get into our ultimate fantasy roster, we do want to shout out our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Go on now, use promo code TSS, and we will match your deposit up to $100. All right, so just waiting on my guest to pop in, and we will get All right, let's get ready to rumble. Fantasy Jesus, bring us in with your ultimate DFS plays of the day.
All right, so I want to key in on a couple, Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders. So one thing that this Kansas City defense has shown is that they're very vulnerable to the run game. And for this team, you look at Jalen Hurts, running quarterback. What did Joe Burrow do? He ran the ball 4 times for 30 yards. Joe Burrow's not supposed to be a running quarterback. Jalen Hurts is. So that kind of just shows me that behind this offensive line, Jalen Hurts, who is going to be favoring his shoulder, but guess what? This is the last game of the year. Suck it up, Buttercup. Go out there, get you some touchdowns. Miles Sanders, he's going to be key to this team, even, going out there and putting up any effort. If they can get the run game going and established, it's going to be through Miles Sanders this week. Yeah.
Yep,
did you want me to explain the entire thing, or did you want me to just go through those two?
No, let's just go through the two. We only got a limited amount of time here. I want to kick it next to Fantasy MD Dan. Take us away, man.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be on here. Doing a great show, by the way, too. So, yeah, my lineup, two guys I'm focusing on. I'm going tight ends. Double tight end, baby. Travis Kelce, that's self-explanatory. Everyone's talking about him possibly being the MVP if it's not Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs win the game, right? 10 catches, possible. Over 70.5 yards, yep, bet on that too. He's going to be fantastic. Nothing to go into when it comes to Travis Kelce. Obviously, he's a no-brainer. Now, Dallas Goedert, on the other hand, that's where we find some value. He's only $6,400 on DraftKings. And if Jalen Hurts' shoulder continues to hinder him the way it looked like it had between the Giants and the San Francisco 49ers, not being able to attack outside the hashes that often, that consistently, well, that means we want safety blankets. Safety blankets means Dallas Goedert over the middle of the field. That is a weak point for the Chiefs defense, just like pretty much anything else is, but especially in the red zone. So I'm expecting Dallas Goedert to get a touchdown in this game. He's had 6 or more targets each of the last 2 playoff games because Hurts needs that safety blanket. So I love Dallas Goedert and Travis Kelce in my fantasy lineups this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard to fight with you on that. Let's go to my partner in crime, Mr. Joey Fickle of TSF Fantasy.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is Super Bowl, man. Anytime we got these island games, you have to get weird in your lineups. You got to get weird. Something weird is going to happen. For me, I'm going to go with my boy, Kadarius Toney. You slide him in the captain spot, $6,600. He leads the Kansas City Chiefs with a 30% target share on routes run. That's ahead of Kelce, ahead of everyone. He had 7 targets on 11 routes and a carry in the divisional round against the Jaguars. He's being used when he is on the field. Now, get this guy on the field. He is electric. The Chiefs get weird when they get inside the 5-10 yard line. That's what they do. In weeks 15 through 17, he saw consecutive increases in snap percentage, routes ran, routes per drop back, targets and receptions, routes per game. They're gradually getting him involved more and more. Like I said, get him on the field. He is going to play, so I'm going to slide him in the captain spot, $6,600. You can fit guys. You can fit the rest of the guys, both quarterbacks, Hurts and Mahomes in your lineup. Kelce, Devontae Smith, and obviously you got to save somewhere, so Quez Watkins. But let me talk about Devontae Smith really quick. 175 pounds. Give me pound per talent, best in the league. I love this guy. He's gone over 100 yards in 4 of his previous 5 games. Make this guy AJ Brown size, and I love it. So yeah, let's go. I'm with it. I'm ready to see Kadarius Toney. Maybe he gets 6-7 targets, but they're going to be high value targets. I love it. Give me 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, Average Joe's our co-host here. He's saying Kadarius Toney's only going to get 1 play today, so we'll see how that works out. All right, let's go over to Keith and let's get your 2 big plays of the day and your ultimate DFS lineup.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Feel a little ridiculous, including Mahomes. That's a guy that you should play, and I'm very excited to see me with Ultimate Warrior makeup on. If 8-year-olds myself could see me now. But Mahomes has scored 20 points in 14 games this year, 30-5. I mean, he's coming off 326 yards, 2 touchdowns when he couldn't move. He has 10 games with 20-plus rushing. That's always a big thing to get those extra points. Multiple passing touchdowns in 14 of 18. If you think the Chiefs are going to win, I think Mahomes should be your captain. I just think it's that simple. He's due for a big Super Bowl game. In his previous 2, he's averaging 280 yards per game. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns, averaging 1 touchdown per, 2 interceptions per game. His playoff average, over 300 yards per game, 2.5 touchdowns per, 0.5 interceptions, 5 straight playoff games with multiple touchdowns, 15 touchdowns in those 5 games, just 3 picks. He's overdue. The guy's too great. And I actually like the Eagles today, so this worries the shit out of me that here's a guy that is overdue to have a monster game, that's basically all he does. I mean, that's what he's done in the regular season. He's done in the postseason. He hasn't done it yet in 2 Super Bowl games. I have a feeling he gets it done today, especially if you like the Chiefs. The other guy for me in the lineup is Pacheco. I mean, he's been the most important Chief probably for the last 6 weeks, and really the big difference in why this team is so effective now. Double digits in 9 of his last 10. The only game that he didn't score 10 points on DK in his last 10, he scored 9.7, double-digit carries, 9 of 11. He's had 15 receiving yards or more in 6 of 8, 10 red zone attempts in his last 6 games, which is really big. He's only scored 2 times in that, so I think there's touchdown progression coming here. I really think he does score in this game. He's out-touched McKinnon 28-16 in the playoffs, so there's no doubt who the lead back is anymore. It is Pacheco, and he leads all Chief players, including Travis Kelce, in total yards for the playoffs, which is insane to say, but he does. He has more yards than Kelce or any other Chief player. I think Pacheco is a real value at 7,200. I see a lot of people wanting to pivot to McKinnon, thinking maybe it's more of his game. Don't. Pacheco is the guy.
So, again, hard to argue with that. And I'm actually one of those guys that is pivoting and is going with Jerick McKinnon. So in this particular matchup, I think that the Eagles, have a stout defensive line. I could see a lot of little dink and dunk passes to Jerick McKinnon. I think he's going to have a big game. I think the offense is going to funnel through Travis Kelce, and I think Jerick McKinnon will be that second guy that really emerges in this game. I also threw a dart at Juju because I feel like there's got to be one other receiver in that mix. But the guy that I really want to talk about here, and I was pretty surprised that nobody else picked him for their lineups. And I know the guy was a little bit expensive, but man, A.J. Brown is the best wide receiver in this game. He's the best weapon in this Eagles offense. And frankly, I think for the Eagles to outduel Patrick Mahomes today, it's going to have to be on the back and with a heavy dose of A.J. Brown going up against that Chiefs secondary full of rookies and youngsters. And, those guys have been playing well. And, say what you will, the Chiefs did just, for the most part, shut down the Cincinnati Bengals offense, which, on paper is every bit as good as this Philadelphia Eagles offense. But for me, if the Eagles have any chance in this game, A.J. Brown is going to have to get into the end zone at least once. So A.J. Brown is kind of my pick of the day. I now want to go to, and let's talk about, before we wrap up, some of these game predictions. I want to get some of your score predictions. So, Fantasy Jesus, kick us off.
Yeah, so I'll make it real short. I think it's going to be a good game. I do think the Eagles have been kind of coasting through, and, I think Kansas City has faced more of a challenge. I think that's going to, sharpen them up for this game. I'm going with 30-20 Kansas City. I know Eagles fans hate me right now, but I don't really care. You guys can go jump off a cliff for all I care.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Fantasy MD.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I was handicapping this game earlier in the week, and when you look at it, the Eagles are the better roster from just all levels of the game. But then you start looking at, well, what happened when they played Dallas when they had Dak, and what happened when they got pressed to the fire with some other teams and they would give up 30-plus points in this game. I don't think that's going to quite happen. I think a lot of defenses are going to we're going to see a lot of defensive play. I mean, the Chiefs defense, Spagnuolo, he's got the Chiefs in playoff defense mode, and they're a different defense in the playoffs than they are during the regular season. So ultimately, while I'm crunching the numbers, it came out with a 27-21 in favor of the Chiefs in this game. Bet the under, guys.
Okay. Joey.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I would bet the under as well. 26-24 Kansas City Chiefs. And this game's pretty much a pick 'em in my eyes. And when that is the case, I'm going to go with my boy Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. It's the best duo in the league, man. Can't be stopped, not by anyone. So, and with the Philadelphia Eagles, they got them outside corners. They can lock up. So I don't see a big game for the outside guys, slot guys in the middle. I feel like it's gonna be a slow grind game. That's what this Chiefs team does, is methodically drive down the field slowly, but surely. They'll take the win 26-24.
Okay. And finish us up here, Keith. Give us your predictions for Super Bowl Sunday, the big game.
Well, I'm going to be the dumb guy to pick against Patrick Mahomes. I think the Eagles win easily, 27-17. I think that they're going to dominate both lines, the offensive and defensive lines. This game reminds me so much of the Denver-Seattle Super Bowl about 7-8 years ago. Manning had that unbelievable season, broke the passing touchdown record. Everybody's talking about how great their offense was. Meanwhile, Seattle had built this unbelievable roster on a rookie quarterback. Philadelphia has built this unbelievable roster on a rookie quarterback. And I'm telling you, I think they're going to dominate both fronts on the offense and defensive side. And it's going to be very similar to what happened to the Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl versus the Bucs, where they're going to have a hard time getting, time for their QB. And if they get behind, the Eagles are going to start running the ball. And it's going to be an uphill game for them.
Yep, absolutely. And I do definitely agree with that, Keith. I think if you look across both rosters, like it's pretty clear the Chiefs the Eagles have the more talented squad. So it's, will the talent or will the superstar win out? So I guess we'll see here in a couple of hours. So great job, guys. I definitely appreciate you coming on and giving me your ultimate DFS picks and Twitter picks. We're going to go ahead and transition. Up next, we do have a star-studded Fantasy Jeopardy featuring some of our favorite NFL fans of the year. Before we do get to that, we want to get to our third award of the night with the Genesis Card Breaks Breakout Player of the Year.
This is David here with Genesis Card Breaks, where we break awesome hobby boxes such as Absolute and Illusion. We're here to present the Genesis Breakout Player of the Year. The nominees are Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Devonta Smith, New England Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson, Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields, and Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Garnering 45% of the votes, the number 7th ranked player at his position, the winner is Ramondre Stevenson. Congratulations on a great 2022 football season, and remember to come back and see us for all of your card breaking needs. Have a great Super Bowl.
The studios of the Fantasy Sports Corporation. This is Fantasy Jeopardy. Let's meet today's contestants. He grew up a Batman and Cowboys fan, then came to his spidey senses after the Titans moved to his home of Tennessee. While in the Smokies, he suffered a radioactive spider bite, and now he serves his community, his team, and his fans all around the US. He also listens to AC/DC on game days and wears blue underwear on game days for luck. He was elected this year's Tennessee Titans Fan of the Year. Introducing Spider Titan. The 2022 Miami Dolphins Fan of the Year, co-founder of SWFL Dolvan Club, director of Dolfraki's Friends Inc. An expert pharmacist that isn't Breaking Bad, a devoted wife to her security guard, and a great mother who is teaching her children what is truly important in life. Miami Dolphins football, introducing Dolfraki. He is a 2003 Visa Bengals Hall of Fans inductee. He's the 2020 Bengals Fan of the Year. He has the self-proclaimed biggest biceps in Bengaldom. But that's just between us. He's the leader of the Who Day chant. And for the last time, it's face paint, not makeup, you donuts. Please welcome Sean, Hoodie Baby, Moore. And now let's introduce our host. The man who claims he has Roger Goodell in his DMs. It's Commissioner Cooper.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for Super Bowl Fantasy Jeopardy edition. It is super exciting to have a super fans in for our super theme today. I am super excited. All right, let's get it started. We'll welcome in, ladies first, Dolph Reekie. Welcome into the studio.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate you being here on this Super Bowl Sunday, even though you are there in Arizona as well. That is crazy how you teleported there so fast. And let's also welcome to the studio Houday Baby from the Bengals Nation. Welcome in, my brother.
Houday Baby. Let's go, guys. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you being in. Let's also welcome in the Spider Titan. Welcome in to the studio, my friend.
Thank you so much. Awesome to be here.
We are excited to have you. So let's take a look at today's categories, if you will. We have defense wins championships, which is obviously has to do with defense. We have pass the trophy. That trophy. That is with, that trophy. That category has to do with quarterbacks in regards to Super Bowl facts. For the record, those are record-breaking facts in this category for Super Bowl records. Trophy carriers, that has to do with running backs during the Super Bowl. And we have a potpourri section as well. Lots of fun stuff lots of stuff associated with the Super Bowl there. All right, so we drew backstage, at least I did anyway. Again, ladies first. Dolph Reekie, you are up to pick first. What category would you like?
I will take pass the trophy for 200.
Pass the trophy for 200. Here is your clue. These two champions are the only quarterbacks to start and win Super Bowls for multiple teams.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan.
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning is correct. Good job, my friend. That is 200, and now you own the board. What else do you got?
Awesome. Let's do the trophy carries for 200.
Trophy carriers for 200. Here's your clue. Terrell Davis is the most recent running back to win the Super Bowl MVP. He earned it in Super Bowl 32, carrying the ball 30 times for 157 yards and 3 TDs, leading this team to a 31-24 victory over the Packers. Whew, man, that was close. I'm going to look to my judge backstage. It was between Houday Baby and Spider Titan. Who do you got, Zach? He's going to give it to Spider Titan there. So sorry, Houday Baby, had to go to the back. Who do you got, my friend?
Who are the Denver Broncos?
Who are the Denver Broncos is correct. Thank you, Zach, for getting that dispute out of the way. Spider Titan, you still own the board. What else you got?
Let's do the trophy carries for, what is that, 400?
Trophy carries for 400. Here's your clue. This NFL and college football Hall of Famer was the first non-quarterback offensive player to win Super Bowl MVP. He did it in Super Bowl 8 and in dominant fashion, rushing 33 times for 145 yards and 2 TDs, leading his team to their second championship in as many years.
Oof.
Yeah, it was long enough to say it.
Yeah.
Anybody got a guess?
Who dare you don't know this, man? How old are you?
You got age jokes. All right, looks like no one's gonna get it. All right, we're gonna move on from this one. We got, really, who should be kicking themselves? No pun intended is Dolph Reekie on that one. All right, let's move on to the next one. Spider Titan, you still own it. Who else you got?
Let's do let's go for the record 200.
For the record for 200, here's your clue. This Hall of Famer holds the Super Bowl record for most receptions and receiving yards with 33 for 589, including the single game receiving yardage record with 215, the most non-passing Super Bowl TDs with 8.
Non-passing Super Bowl TDs.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan.
Is it Jerry Rice?
Jerry Money Rice is correct. Spider Titan all over the place right now. You on the board. What else you got?
Let's do the pass the trophy for 400.
pass the trophy for 400. Here's the clue. This signal caller could stick to passing with his just 28 career rushing yards in Super Bowls, averaging out to a measly 2.8 yards per game.
Jesus. Signal
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan.
Oh.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is not correct.
That's okay.
I have to ding you. Any other guesses?
Killing me. Killing me.
Tom
What?
Brady. It's Tom Brady. Come on. I thought for sure that was an easy one.
No.
All right. You still got it. What else you got?
Struggling here. We're struggling.
Spider Titan, you still own it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do trophy carries for 600.
Trophy carries 600. Here's your clue. This recently retired running back holds these single game Super Bowl records: most receptions, most receiving yards by a running back, most points scored in overtime.
Recently retired.
This is actually a pretty tough one. I was like, oh man. When I saw the answer, I was like, oh.
Trying to think of
one
who's
of
recently
those.
retired.
Yeah.
All right, we got to keep moving it along, guys. Sorry, the answer was James White.
Oh,
unbelievable! You
never would've
don't,
got that one.
yeah. If you don't know, now you don't know. All right,
Yeah.
let's go. Spider Titan, what else you got?
Yeah. Let's just go for the record 400.
For the record, 400. Here's your clue. This Oakland Raiders quarterback threw a Super Bowl record 5 picks against the Bucks in Super Bowl 37, with 3 of them being returned for a touchdown.
Who did, baby?
I'm gonna go. Let's give Houday Baby. I think you guys were tied again. I'm gonna give Houday Baby a chance at this one. Who do you got?
Who's Gannon? Was it Rich Gannon?
Gannon is correct, my friend. Good job there. All right, you on the board now. Who else you got?
Let's go Potpourri for 200.
Potpourri for 200. Here's your clue. This Barbadian singer, actress, and businesswoman will perform this up.
Dolph-Freaky.
Dolph-Freaky. What you got?
Who is Rihanna?
Who is Rihanna is correct. Dolph-Freaky on the board. All right, what you got?
Let's go with Potpourri for 1,000.
Potpourri, ooh-wee, for 1,000. This city has hosted the most Super Bowls with 11.
Who dey, baby?
Houday Baby.
New Orleans.
New Orleans is not correct.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan.
Should be Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is not correct. Dolph-Freaky, do you have a guess?
Oh my gosh. What is San Diego?
What is San Diego? It's not correct. Listen, let's go back. I don't even want to ding you guys for this because it's just gonna get horrible. Listen, you should kick yourself again. It is none other than Miami.
What?
That was my second guess.
Well, there's only one that I remember.
The fan of the year? No. You still got control. What else you got?
Oh, let's do defense wins championships for 200.
Defense wins championships 200. Here's your clue. Giants punter Brad Maynard set the ugly Super Bowl record with 11 punts against his legendary defense in 2000.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan.
Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens is correct. Good job there, sir. You own the board. What else you got?
Let's see. Let's do the Potpourri. Let's do it for 400.
Potpourri for 400. Here is your clue. Get it over there. According to studies, Super Bowl Sunday is the second largest food consumption day in the United States, only behind this holiday.
Dolph-Freaky.
Who dey, baby?
Freaky.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is correct. Great job there. All right, you got control. What else you got?
Potpourri for 600.
Potpourri for 600. Here is your clue. All right, you got the first daily double. You got 600. Do you want to make it a true daily double?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, a true daily double. Here we go. Here it is. All right, for 600. Official reports last year stated that we ate a record-breaking 1.4 billion of these on Super Bowl Sunday.
Spider Titan.
What's Dolph Freaky on the daily double? I know it's been a while since you watched Jeopardy, bro. But...
Yeah, a long time. A long time.
What are potato chips?
Oh, it is incorrect. It is chicken wings. Chicken wings. All right, no biggie. All right, you still got control though. What else you got?
Let's go with potpourri for 800.
Potpourri for 800. Here's your clue. These 4 teams have never played in a Super Bowl.
Oh, never played?
I can't think of the fourth one.
Yeah, I got 3 too.
Anybody gonna risk it? No risk it, no biscuit.
Oh, God. I just thought of it.
All right, go ahead. You want to do it, Houday?
I'll give it a shot.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Browns.
Okay.
Texans.
Yep.
Jags.
Yep.
Lions.
One more. That
Lions.
is correct. Good
Bam!
job. He nails it.
Wow.
What a good one there. That's a tough one there. I got to remember those teams on the fly. Good job. Well, Houday, baby, you own the board. What else you got?
Let's go. Defense wins championships for 400.
Defense wins championship 400. This man picked off Kurt Warner in Super Bowl 43 and returned it 100 yards for the longest interception in Super Bowl history, and his team won by 4 points.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan, who you got?
James Harrison.
James Harrison, who needed some oxygen after that run. Definitely, that's a memorable moment for sure. What else you got, Spider Titan?
Same category for 600. Defense wins championships.
All right, sorry, defense. This 8-time Pro Bowler is the most recent defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, I forgot what the answer was, is not correct. Sorry.
Hey.
Anyone else got a guess? All right. Well, I don't want to get the buzzer. That's Von Miller and Super Bowl 50. That was
the second one too.
All right, Spider Titan, you control. What you got?
We'll do the same category. Defense wins championships for 600.
Defensive wins championships. Here we go. This team won Super Bowl 53 by a score of 13-3, which was the lowest combined score in Super Bowl history.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan, who you got?
Tampa Bay Bucks.
That is incorrect. I'm not going to get you guys negative because, again, it's no fun at that point. Do you have a guess? Houday, baby, or Dolph Freaky?
Dolph Freaky.
Who you got?
Who are the New England Patriots?
The New England Patriots is correct. Great job, Dolph Freaky. Good snag there.
Brady was in there somewhere.
You control. What else you got?
I'll take pass the trophy for 600.
Pass the trophy for 600. Here we go. This signal caller is the youngest QB in the NFL history to win a Super Bowl. He went on to win another and lose one.
Spider Titan.
Spider Titan, who you got?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is not correct.
Oh my God.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
So would have won 2 and lost 1.
Who is Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson is also not correct. Houday, baby, you got a stab at it?
It's killing me.
All right, womp, womp, womp. It's Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, that was
I keep anything he did out of my head, so that's why.
That's got to hit it where it hurts right there, right, Uday?
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
Let's go. I think off Riki, or you were still in control there. What else you got?
For the record, for 1,000.
For the record, for 1,000, here's your clue. This Hall of Famer holds the record for the most Super Bowl wins by a defensive player with 5. He's second overall behind Brady. He's also a member of the 100 Sack Club. His 12-year career was spent as a 49er and a Cowboy.
I can picture him with all the rings on his hand, too.
The answer is Charles
Haley.
Haley. Oh, that was another blast from the past. All right, Dolph
I
Riki.
can see the picture of him sitting there with the rings on his hands.
You're still control. What else you got?
Trophy carriers for 800.
Trophy carriers 800. Here's your clue. This legendary Hall of Famer played in 4 Super Bowls, all for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and holds the NFL record for the most Super Bowl rushing attempts, 101, and yards, 354.
Who day, baby?
Who day, baby?
Franco Harris.
Frank Harris is correct. Good job there. Who day Nation in the house. Who else you got?
Let's go ahead and close out trophy carriers for 1,000.
Trophy carriers for 1,000. Here is your clue. This Hall of Fame running back holds the record for the most career Super Bowl rushing touchdowns with 5. Guys are going to kick yourself for this one. Was there a Emmett Smith in a lot of Super Bowls? He's got big 5 of them. All right, Houday, you still control. What else you got?
All right, let's go for the record for 600.
For the record for 600, here is your clue. All right, you got the last of the daily doubles, my friend. You're up big here with 2,000. What do you want to risk?
Let's just go with 1,000 here.
All right, just make it easy. Why not? I can hear you there. All right, for the record for 600, this team holds the record for the most consecutive Super Bowl appearances with 4.
We're the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills is correct. No one circles those wagons quite like the Buffalo Bills unless they played the Bengals this year.
That's
All
right.
right, what else you got, Houday? Who you got?
All right, let's do defense wins championships for 1,000.
Defense wins championships. Here it is. This team held the highest scoring offense in NFL history to just 8 points in Super Bowl 48.
Ooh.
Any guesses? Everybody's like, I got to make it to Final Jeopardy, man. I don't know. All right. So for this one here, it was the Seattle Seahawks over the Denver Broncos. All right.
I just need to talk because I thought about that and I was like, no, that's not it. I just need to say stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, Inspired Sign, I wasn't even going to knock it. So go ahead, man. Take a stab at it, bro. Let's go. All right. Who you got, Houday?
For the record for 800.
For the record, 800. Here we go. This kicker holds the record for the most Super Bowls played at his position. Telling you, it's that Final Jeopardy thing. I'm telling you. All right,
kicker. Yeah,
you're gonna kick yourself when you see this one. Steven Gutowski, he had 6 of them. Of course, he was in that
Patriots. God,
seen enough of that damn team. Enough. Get him out of here. All right, Houday, you still control. Who you got?
Pass the trophy for 800.
Pass the trophy 800. Here we go. Tom Brady has thrown for 21 career touchdowns in Super Bowls, the most in NFL history. The only other signal caller with double-digit Super Bowl touchdown passes is this Hall of Famer with 11.
Houday, baby.
Houday, baby.
Joe Montana.
Joe Money Montana is correct. Wow, great job there. And let's close this puppy out. Pass the trophy for 1,000. Here we go. This current passer has started 2 Super Bowls with a combined stat line of 52 and 91 for 556 yards, 2 TDs, and 4 interceptions. He was also sacked 7 times. He's 1-1 in the big game.
Who dey, baby?
Who dey, baby?
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson is not correct. You could have. It's all right. You can afford a little bit to bring it back down a little. Dolph Freak, your Spider Titan, want to take a stab?
4 interceptions.
All right. You'll be kicking yourself for this one. Patrick.
I knew it. I should have said it.
Wow. All right, so let's take a look, and I'll have to write this down. We got 2,800 for Who Dey, baby. 200 for Spider Titan. Dolph Riki, we got you at 800. So I'm going to reveal your final Jeopardy category, and at that point, we're going to get you guys to get your final wagers in. Although I guess for Spider Titan, we kind of already know what he's wagering. Here's your final Jeopardy category. So we're going back in the way back books for the history of the Super Bowl. Have your wagers ready. Here we go. Here is your final Jeopardy clue.
Lamar Hunt developed this method to name Super Bowls in order to avoid confusion, given that the actual championship game is played the year after the corresponding football season. You have 60 seconds. Good luck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Let's start with Spider Titan. First, how much did you wager for your big bets?
Of course, all of it, which is what, 200?
He's all in. He's all in. So tell me, what is your final Jeopardy answer?
What are Roman numerals?
Roman numerals. We'll check back in a second to see if that's correct. Let's go to Dolph Riki. How much did you wager?
I wagered 0, and I also said Roman numeral system.
Wagered 0. And it's also said Roman numerals. Playing it safe. Gotta appreciate that. Who Dey, baby? What did you wager?
I wagered 1,000, and I went with Roman numerals.
Roman numerals. Let's check out if you're correct. All right, great job, ladies and gentlemen. Who Dey, baby, you are today's winner. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We got to play the winner video. Here you are, my friend.
His name is John C.
So, that was brought to you, by the way, by Pro-Am Belts. So make sure I say that. All right. And unfortunately for our losers tonight, we do have a video for you guys as well. Sadly, on our show, we got to send you out with the loser video.
Dumbass. Thank these. They call me dumbass. Play kind entertainment.
telling me there's a chance.
Congratulations to all of our contestants tonight. That was a wonderful, fun game. We're going to start with Who Dey Baby since you were today's winner. Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all your great stuff and anything that you're doing lately. And before you send out, also, let's give a Super Bowl prediction as well.
All right. So you can find me at Who Dey Baby on Twitter, on the Instagrams, all that fun stuff. On Tuesdays at 7 p.m., you can find me on the Blind Tiger Show with me, the Bengals captain, and Bengals and Bourbon. We're not every Tuesday. We're getting that hang of that, doing a show every week. And then as far as the Super Bowl, I can't root for the Chiefs to win after last week. So we're going Eagles 35-21.
Nice. All right. We're going to write all these down, see who gets the closest. Dolph Freaky, let's go to you. Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all your great content, plus anything you guys, might be doing as far as promoting. And I know today is a very special day for you.
Yeah, so I'm at Dolph Freaky on Instagram and Twitter, Allie Goodman on Facebook. It's 1 week before we leave for the Super Bowl, so I'm part of the 2022 NFL FODI class. So please vote for me to win overall NFL Fan of the Year at NFL.com/Fan of the Year. You can find all of my endeavors on my Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. So just click the link tree in my bio to support anything that I'm doing. Particularly right now, I am doing the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. So that happens later this month. And so we are raising a lot of money for charity for cancer research at the University of Miami. So that's my big endeavor right now. So please support. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Please make sure if you're watching, go help. Support. What a great cause. And Allie, before I forget, let's get that score in. What's your prediction for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so I'm going with my hometown Eagles. I'm actually flying out to Philadelphia tomorrow. Whoop whoop. But it's for a funeral, so it's not a happy occasion, but it's nice to go home every once in a while. So I'm going to go with 24-17 Eagles win.
Okay. Spider Titan, how about you, my friend? Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all your great content, plus all the great stuff you got going on.
Well, my main platform is Facebook. You can just hashtag in the search bar Spider Titan. It'll pull you right up to me. My name is Jonathan Cable also. And other platforms, you can find me just, basically just look for Spider Titan, honestly. I mean, I'm everywhere. And the things I have going on most of the time on the off season are mostly just birthday visits and special little packages that I send to certain fans that ask and just reply to me and everything like that. I'd like to show my appreciation to all the fans that support the Titans and of course any other fans from any other team because there's kids that love Spider-Man all around the world. So I support everybody. Of course, heading out also to Vegas. I get to be with Dolph Freaky. Me and her keep on bumping into each other. I don't know how. I don't know why, but hey, I guess we're little buddies for life, I guess. And you can also vote for me if you guys feel inspired by the things I do. It's awesome, and it's an awesome experience. Like I said, I cannot wait to share that with all the rest of the other 31 NFL fans of the years. And we got a lot coming our way, and I just want to show you guys, what the Titans mean to me, and represent them as full as I can when I go down here to Arizona and just try to bring home that big one. If not, like I said, I'm just going to enjoy the experience with everybody else that's in the class. And like I said, everything that I do throughout the season is coming again. I do constant things for my community. I do constant things for other fans of the NFL and everything like that. So I'm always constantly busy doing things. And for you guys to support me, and that'd be amazing. And I'd just be happy to be on this show. And to be mentioned, for all the other 31 fans, because that's a huge accomplishment. It's a huge honor. Like I said, it's just it's an unbelievable dream. And for somebody else's dream for happening during the Super Bowl, of course, I'm going Eagles, because my best friend's an Eagles fan, and I'm taking him with me down there, and he's very, very excited. And like I said, I just, I can't do the Chiefs, and I have so much respect for Patrick Mahomes and everything like that. I've never liked Andy Reid too much, but at the same time, it's kind of cool because Andy Reid is going against his old team in the Super Bowl, which is awesome. But I'm going 28-24 Eagles.
Nice. Well, we couldn't think of a better way to kick off Super Bowl Sunday with a Super Bowl edition of Jeopardy. Appreciate you guys being in. We're going to kick it back to our crew and continue on with our coverage. Thank you guys again. Everyone go follow, subscribe. All of these fans have such great causes. Make sure you support them. And a great job this year to Dolph Reeky and Spider Titan this year for being nominated. And of course, Houday Baby as well. So we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time. Thank you again.
Houday Baby.
Jazz, Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for all-purpose online wagering. For over 20 years, Jazz has provided the best and quickest payouts in sports and entertainment wagers. Live sports betting, covering all the major sports leagues, and even into the new and exciting world of esports. Down the stretch you'll come, with Jazz's online horse wagering. Get paid when you play with Jazz's fun and exciting online casino games. Go online now and use the promo code TSS for our new members deals. Jazz Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for online wagering.
It's the betting segment presented by JazzSports.ag. Welcome to the Patriot Sports Studio. My name is Eric. I'm your host. Producer Chris is here with me as always. You can find us at PatriotSportsNow.com and at PatriotSpot on Twitter, Patriot Sports everywhere else. Of course, you can always find us on the Fantasy Sports Corp channel. We got Mikey Betts on the line. We've got Ariel Callista coming to join us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sides, totals, anthem, commercials, Rihanna. We've got it all going for you this morning. Somebody's going to Disneyland tonight, and we'll be gambling heavily every step of the way. We're not the only ones. 50 million Americans are projected to wager roughly $16 billion with a B on this standalone game.
That's Ukraine money.
Here. I'd love to. Are Ariel and Mikey here?
Come on, get that money. Money. I don't come the money. 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 Do it all for money. Money.
There we are. Ariel, Mikey, and I have brought our favorite bets. We'll run through those first. Then at the end, each of us will contribute one leg of a 3-leg parlay to make us all rich so we can skip work tomorrow. Sound good? Good. Fun.
I love it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Hi there. Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Welcome. Mikey, same question. How are you doing? Are you prepared mentally, emotionally, fiscally for the culmination of all the football?
You know, I woke up today. It's good weather. You know, I can't complain. I saw a hawk today. I didn't see an eagle, so the signs aren't right. Don't know what to do. I didn't see a chief yet. Signs aren't right, so I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous, so we'll see.
Yeah, boy, if I'd seen an eagle in the wild this morning, that would have just cinched it for me. I would have had
Could have been a sign. Could have been.
You got to be open. As a gambler, you got to be open to these signs of the universe, like something, you hear a player's name 2-3 different times on 2-3 different shows. You're like, there's a reason that's in my brain. You see an eagle, then you know it's Eagles money line. Let's see. Before we get into that, Patriot Sports is a traditional operation. We observe the rule of ladies first. So let's get into the sides and totals. Ariel, that's sort of your area. How do you see the game unfolding tonight? Where are you putting your American currency?
Well, right now I'm wearing it's a Philly thing. And honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored tonight. It's going to be a really fun game. And in the preseason, a lot of smart money was going to the Eagles winning more than 8.5 games. So I made a bet with the Eagles. They did really well, winning the first 9 games, and here they are at the Super Bowl. So like the old adage says, you got to dance with the person that you came with. So here I am supporting the Eagles today.
I respect that. Dance with the one who brung you, as they say. You got to do that. Boy, is there any better way to cruise to an over 8.5 than the team starting 9-0? That's ideal.
It was great.
No sweat.
I've had a great season in the NFL so far, but I'm looking forward to getting into some other sports soon.
What was your total return on the football season?
I had a 32% ROI. So in Las Vegas, that definitely says something, and it gets you into a lot of better circles, a lot of elite player circles. And looking good doesn't hurt, of course, but it's the ROI that really, I wasn't in last year. It's the ROI that really allowed me to get into some of the elite betting circles and really mingle with the pros and understand like where the math is going.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's
32, that gets noticed.
That's basically what it's all about. To get your ROI up, it's basically you have to have discipline. You have to make sure not to go chase. You can't tilt. There's a lot of things that you have to do as a gambler and a responsible gambler when it comes to betting. So just wanted to give a quick shout out while it's Super Bowl Sunday. 1-800-GAMBLER. So make sure you guys don't gamble too much. Gamble what you guys can afford and have fun doing it. So
yes,
just quick advice to the listeners.
Absolutely. Gambling should always be extra money. I have a rule. If I want to make a deposit, I have to work overtime. It has to be money that wouldn't come out of a normal check. And then, you just got to try and make yourself sharp. But yeah, the trick is like I lost a Xavier bet on a goaltend and I got pissed off. I'm like, it's time to put the phone down. So yeah, don't bet emotionally. So how do you see the Eagles covering? Do you think the Chiefs are going to win this thing outright? Is it going to be a 1-point game? How do you see the spread playing out?
I really wasn't able to analyze this how I normally analyze the games, which is really looking at the money flow. I like to look at where the smart money is going, where the square money is going. And at that point, you could take a side. You could see where Las Vegas is taking a side. And it's usually only in about like 10 to 15% of the games where Las Vegas actually will take a side against the square money or will take the side of the sharp money. So here, there's just so much money flowing in. This is going to be the most bet game in all of history. And for me, I wasn't really able to do my normal analytics. I graduated from UNLV. I've learned the math. I've learned probability and statistics. And here, there's just so much money going into this game, so many new bets coming in. And I'm still sticking with the Eagles because I just think there's going to be a lot of points scored on both sides, but the Eagles is who I came to the dance with.
Yeah, Mikey, that's a good idea with all the new bettors out here for today. That was a great message to get out there. How do you see the game playing out, Mikey?
What I said when I said responsible gambling, I also forgot to mention that I'm going to put my mortgage on the Eagles, probably -1.5. I don't want to because I feel like I'm going to look back 5 years from now and say, damn, I can't believe Patrick Mahomes was an underdog in the Super Bowl. That's going to be crazy. But then I can also look at it like the matchup is more of when Patrick Mahomes played against the Bucs in the Super Bowl versus when he played against the 49ers. It's just clear as day. You could see it. And I don't know if you guys heard the news this morning as well. Vic Fangio signed a 2-week contract with the Eagles and has been coaching the Eagles to stop Patrick Mahomes.
How's that even fair?
That is insane. That is insane how you could do that. As soon as I heard that this morning, I was like, you know what? I got to do it. Vic Fangio is my guy, so he's the best defensive coordinator in the league. You got him for 2 weeks with that defense, what they could do on a ankle. They're going to make him roll left all. That's what you're going to see all day. It's
the boys were fired up when Fangio walked in. Yeah. They were.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before we get into some props and I tell you about my favorite Super Bowl props, let's talk about our segment's presenting sponsor, Jazz. I found some great bets over there. For instance, Pat Mahomes passing yard range. I think he's going to have to chuck it a bunch of times. You can get 301 to 320 for plus 550 and then 321 to 340 for plus 750. So now you got this big 40-yard swath of yardage you can land in and you can double or triple your money. They also have some great cross-sport props over there. You can get into the cross-sport stuff with the Super Bowl. I like Joel Embiid to have more rebounds than Jalen Hurts rush attempts, -130. I think Embiid regularly pulls down a dozen boards. And I don't see I don't see Hurts running 12 to 15 times. Estimated 16 bill. Exactly. Props that I like. I love no touchback. I found it at plus 145. Pat McAfee and all his stuff have not killed that bet yet. It's still plus money. It's come home like 18 to the last 20. I like Pat Mahomes over 26.5 completions. I think it's going to be a lot of short passing there. And with that, Jerick McKinnon over 20.5 receiving yards. What do you think of those, Mikey?
I do like the passing completions. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw a lot. And it's going to be a rough game for Patrick Mahomes because they're going to make him roll left. But yeah, he's going to be passing like crazy. It's going to be insane. So I do like it. And what was the last pick? I'm sorry.
McKinnon over 20.5.
McKinnon over 20.5 receiving. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Okay.
What do you think about a Kadarius Toney touchdown, Ariel? Am I crazy?
I like it. I'd have to run some probability math on it, but I like it.
Oh, she's going to have to run the numbers. I like that.
Is it plus money?
Yes. Kadarius Toney touchdown is plus
It's
300.
plus money. Dollar Bet Club. That's what it's all about. Put $1 on it.
Yep. Yeah, you get in John's Dollar Bet Club, turn that $1 into $4. Now you're cooking with propane. Who do you guys like for the MVP? Ariel, give me a touchdown, an anytime touchdown, and who do you like for the MVP tonight?
I believe the anytime touchdown will be Travis Kelce. I mean, he has been a touchdown machine this last season, and he has scored in 11 out of 14 playoff games. So that alone puts the odds at minus 370. And then there's plenty of injured Chiefs receivers right now. And that pushes the odds to nearly minus 400. So for me, taking it at minus 120, that's a great bet to have right now. Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. He's a touchdown machine. That's all I can say.
All night? I don't think so. I think so.
I think there's super value there.
He's also scored in the last two Super Bowls, so you have that as well. Go 3 for 3.
Absolutely.
He's working on some Super Bowl records with yardage and catches.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mikey,
Mikey,
I got a question. Mikey, I got a question for you. I don't know if you buy into narratives. I'm curious about this. So Travis Kelce gets up on the podium, right, and says that the referee doesn't deserve to not only wear stripes on the field, but to even don one in a Foot Locker.
Yeah, Carl Cheffers reffing tonight's game.
Oh, yikes.
So you buy into that kind of a narrative on over and unders, like 50-50 calls?
Yeah, I do, because refs are people too, and they're nuts. I mean, I hate
He said Foot Locker, Mikey Betts. Foot Locker.
Yeah, that's really mean.
That's a
really
knockout.
Mean.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really mean.
Yep. And I got this shout out Moonoff at SGPN. Carl Cheffers is responsible for 20% of the Chiefs' penalty yardage this year. I think he's ref 2 games for them, so he's not afraid to throw it.
Like, and I feel like, Goodell knows this stuff. Why do you put these guys in? Are you? It's controversy. That's all it is. That's all it is. Controversy.
I hate how they put an all-star team together. Take the best crew that's been working together cohesively as a unit all year.
Yeah.
Put them in the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's fine.
Exactly.
Let's do it that way.
Exactly.
What kind of props are you looking at tonight, Mikey?
How much time do we have? All right. So
we got 8 minutes.
I love Quez Watkins over 12.5 receiving yards. I feel like that's just one catch. Dude,
That's one.
It's plus 100. Why would you not take that? That's so fun to take. I would also take Dallas Goedert over 4.5 receptions. I'm sorry. 4.5 receptions is not bad. It's minus 136. You put a little bit of cash on it. The ball is going to go to him. It's going to go to him. It's going to be short dinks and dunks sometimes, and he's the main guy that you'll see, especially if the Chiefs bring up pressure. You'll see Goddard going after it all the time. And the Chiefs aren't that great defending the tight ends. So I like 4.5 receptions. I think that's an easy number right there. Isaiah Pacheco over 15.5 receiving yards. I love that pick. It's just a nice little dink and dunk out. I understand. I liked your McKinnon pick, but it could go either way, right? It can go either way. So we can do that. And then I'm also going to take Isaiah Pacheco over rushing. Why not? 47.5. It's low. It's very low. Well, who else is going to be rushing the ball the way that Pacheco's rushing it? You know, nobody else on that team is going to be rushing it. And if the Chiefs are up early, what are they going to do? They're going to rush. Just saying. If they're up early. Kenneth Gainwell over 18.5 rushing yards. Love that pick.
That.
I'm also going to take the over on Kenneth Gainwell over 30.5 rushing and receiving. I think that's a nice one as well. Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown scorer. I'm also going to take Jalen Hurts over 49.5 rushing yards.
That's fun.
Travis Kelce, 79.5 receiving yards. And these are all nibbles. These are all small unit bets, but they're straight bets. Make sure everybody knows that. Not a parlay. Josh Sweat to record a sack. Love that.
I'm on
pick.
that too.
I love it. It's plus 135. Why would
Josh Sweat most sacks in the game is 10-1. I think if he gets two, and he's going against an old broken tackle, and he has a very quick get off. He's going to beat, who's that, Orlando Brown on the end? And Mahomes knows this. Yeah. He's going to get rid of it quickly, but Josh Sweat is fast.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to get him at least once, especially on a bum ankle. You know, I just keep saying it. I know it's not that bad, but it's still. All right.
Ankles are ankles.
What else do we have here on my nice little list? Okay. Under Jake Elliott total kicking points. Do not like him to get a lot of points this week. I think it's not going to be good. So under 7.5 points kicking for Jake Elliott, over 24 points total for the first half, and then over 11.5 or over 12.5 points for the Chiefs.
Love it. Love the kicking props. I got 0 field goals plus 1,500 and 1 field goal plus 500.
I love it.
I hope we have 0 or 1. Ariel, what kind of player props are you looking at before we build our little parlay here?
I'm looking at Sanders rushing more than 56.5 yards. I believe that the Eagles are going to try to run the ball early and establish dominance on the ground. So with his average of over 75 yards a game, I believe that he'll absolutely rush over 56.5 yards. I'm looking at
You go.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I kind of like him for MVP at 28-1. I feel like if the Eagles win, it could be because they run the ball a ton, and it could be because of Miles Sanders.
Imagine that overpaid contract next year if he gets the Finals MVP, Super Bowl MVP. Oh my God.
I still kind of think that Jalen Hurts might be MVP though, because he is a quarterback, and 90% of the time, as long as the quarterback stays healthy and there's no injuries and he plays a good game, 90% of the time the quarterback wins MVP.
It's a quarterback award. Let's build our prop parlay. I'm logged into a sports book here. I think you like over rushing yards for Miles Sanders. Correct? Okay, we'll plug that in. And then, Mikey Betts, what's your favorite player prop?
I'm going to do Quez Watkins over 12.5 receiving yards plus 100. I don't know if it's
Quez Watkins. Oh, I got over 11.5 here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Grab the hammer.
I'm going to punch in McKinnon, and that will give us plus 525.
That's a great parlay. Let's go.
Yep.
Love it.
We'll all put 5 on that.
Yep, $25. I love it. All right, let's knock out our final scores here.
Just a second. What's our consensus for the game? Like, what are we betting the game?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Final scores, consensus pick.
Okay.
Who's gonna win? And then we're gonna all agree on where we're putting our money, and that's where it's gonna get dicey. Ariel, what do you got for the spread and the score?
The final score, I have Eagles 31-24.
I like it. High scoring. Mikey, what do you got?
Eagles 35, Chiefs 31.
And Chris, you're on the Eagles, are you not?
Yeah, I got the Eagles 24, Chiefs 17.
Looks like we're throwing our currency on the Eagles. I mean, I have the Chiefs 31-28, but I'm not going to mess with. I mean, this guy saw a bird of prey out there.
Yeah.
You know, Ariel's got the tank top on. I don't think I can go against it. Eagles minus 1.5. That's our official pick. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go check out Plus Money Golf and all of our betting related content on the Fantasy Sports Corp channel. Thank you, Mike and Ariel. Where can we find you guys? Ariel, where can we find you?
Oh, thanks so much. I've had quite a few accounts taken down. I just had my DMs banned on TikTok. So because I love gambling and I love to also talk about my business, which is cannabis. So you could find me, just type into your browser bit.ly/REBets. That has all my current links to everywhere you could find me on the internet.
Beautiful. Oh, we're going to be great friends, Ariel. Mikey Betts, where can people find you?
You guys could find me at Real Mikey Betts on Twitter, TikTok, anywhere. Basically, just Google me. I mean, I feel like that's the easiest way, at Real Mikey Betts. So there you go.
Yeah. Google me. I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
you can
kind
find
of
us
a big
over at
deal.
you can find us over at PatriotSportsNow.com and the Fantasy Sports Corp channel at Patriots Pod on the Twitter. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. Now is the podcast that's for the people, of the people, by the people. It's only right that Patriot Sports presents the Fantasy Jester with the Player of the People Award.
This is Freddie the Jester Reyes.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And the next award goes to the Fantasy Player of the People. Four finalists are Daniel Jones, Tony Pollard, Amon St. Brown, and Javonte Williams.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Now, this award was close with Monson 5%, Tony Pollard killing it all year for the Cowboys with 22%, and good old Daniel Jones led by the coaching of Brian Dable with a whopping 23%. Now, Javonte Williams, 51% of the vote with 17 touchdowns this year. So the award goes to Javonte Williams. Yeah! Because that's what it is.
He fucked up.
Oh my God, that was great. I love it. Your girl Angie here. I am the host of the Fan Boss part of Patriot Sports Radio Network. I'm here with Lauren today and prepare to be entertained. Lauren!
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Lauren is of Hops Geek News. Welcome, welcome. Yes. Are you excited for this whole thing?
For the Super Bowl or for this segment? Because I gotta say, I'm a little more excited for the trailer for the Marvels and the Flash, which we're supposed to get tonight. So
nice.
I'm not gonna lie. So I am a Miami Dolphins fan, but obviously they're not in the Super Bowl.
No, and I'm a Viking fan, and they are also not in the Super Bowl. So
there you go. So
but we can cheer for the party. Like we'll get to cheer for the party and do that whole entertainment thing. So that's awesome. Yeah, I guess part of the Super Bowl, right, is all about the party. Like to me, especially if your team isn't in the big dance, it doesn't mean that you can't have fun. And I thought we could break down kind of like how would your party lay out? How's it going to lay out? Piece by piece, bit by bit. So basically we have food, drinks, and entertainment to cover. And awesome. I love it. She's a woman on a mission. She's always on the clock. I love it.
I got a coffee beer. I'm ready to go. I'm about to pop it open.
So we have like food and beer pairings lined up, which is great. So we can dive into that stuff right away. And I was just thinking, like, when my people come to my parties for a Super Bowl or any big game party that I have, I want to try to make it kind of interesting. And I came up with probably one of the cheesiest, super awesome things, which was doing a a football meatloaf, right? So like a lot of people do burgers or whatever, or sliders. And I thought what would be more awesome than doing a meatloaf sandwich, like a bougie or exciting meatloaf sandwich bar. And that kind of, for me, it's like, and it gives me the opportunity. Are you a fan of Step Brothers at all?
Yeah. Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, we did. Let's go do karate in the garage for real. Awesome. So it'll give everybody an opportunity to be like, "Hey, Ma, the meatloaf." Right? We want it.
Oh, nice. That saying gets said regularly. My husband will regularly be like, "Ma," when the kids are driving me nuts, and I keep saying "Mom."
So basically, you're like making a meatloaf in the shape of a football. And so you can use any recipe you want to, obviously, which is great. But the part where it gets to be really cool and exciting is if you have all different condiments to go on it. Like maybe you have like horseradish sauces, or like honey or bourbon barbecues, or something like this, right? Lettuce, mayo, all that stuff. And then maybe you get style points if you serve it on a pretzel bun, something like that. So what you're a hops geek, right? So how would you pair up a beer with that? Like, what is your recommendation? Lay it on me, sister.
So because you have so many different things, you have so many different options, but mainly with meatloaf, you're going to want something nice and heavy. So honestly, a barrel-aged stout is going to be a great option to go with meatloaf. Obviously, that's very heavy. Bourbon County is a barrel-aged stout that used to be very hard to get. This used to be what we would call a whale of a beer, but now it's pretty readily available. It comes out every November. A lot of places keep it for a while. It ages well because it's a barrel-aged stout. So that will complement it well. Because with beer, and you got to think like Remy from Ratatouille, you combine those two flavors and it makes both of them better. Or sometimes like, certain beers can cut things to make them less spicy or something like that. So I would recommend, I love barrel-aged stouts in general, so I do recommend them. But now you had mentioned doing it on a pretzel bun. So obviously anytime you have pretzels, I go to German beer. And so what's going to pair well with pretzels? Always German beer. Those are easy to get in any Total Wine or ABC. You just go to the import aisle and grab a German beer. Specifically like a Marzen, which is what Oktoberfests usually are, is a Marzen, which is going to pair great. So I would recommend.
You're taking notes, boys and girls. I'm taking notes here.
And I do have a book that's called Tasting Beer. If people genuinely are interested in this and you want to know more info, Tasting Beer by Randy Mosher is a great tool. It tells you all about pairing food and beer and all sorts of other information about beer. There's a whole world of beer that I think a lot of people aren't aware of.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what I would recommend for some meatloaf sliders on some pretzel buns.
Perfect. So what I do too, whenever my Super Bowl party starts, you and I were talking about like entertainment portion of it. Well, obviously, like that entails like the halftime show and commercials and all this sort of stuff. And some people watch just for the commercials. But one of the cool things I like to do when people come to my home for a game day of any kind is we do like friendly wagering at the house. So if you're not like a huge betting person and you don't have an online betting account or something like this, a fun thing to do sometimes is what I call like the friendly 10-liner, where everybody throws like, maybe you have like a lines 1 through 10 on a piece of paper and people put their names on a line and you put in like, maybe it's like $10 or whatever you're going to do. And then you draw from a deck of cards, like just write down the line, whatever comes out 1 through 10. And then, so essentially you could do payouts at halftime and at the final where you add up the score and whatever that last digit is like the winning number. So like if it's like 22 to 24, the winning number would be 6, right? So that's kind of a fun thing to do. And if you guys have never done it before, if your team isn't in the Super Bowl, it's kind of a fun thing. You can at least cheer for your numbers and maybe make a little money. Get the kids involved, start them out early, start them young.
Hey, it's math. They're learning math. That's all gambling is.
It's educational. Yeah. See, there's always, yeah, that's good. That's a good lesson. It's math. So then moving on from something like that, and definitely like during the beginning right away, before the main course even, I probably am getting out dips. And we were talking about there's a dip that we like to serve here in Wisconsin. It's the Wisconsin beer cheese dip. And of course we were like, oh, don't tell me Spotted Cow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Spotted Cow.
I mean, you hear Wisconsin beer, you think Spotted Cow.
Right, I know. And not everybody can get it anyways. And I'm sure, you being the beer expert, there's a million awesome things that you can use besides that. So it would be really mixing these ingredients for this beer dip, which we're going to drop. The recipes will be dropped too. I mean, I know they're on the screen, but so combining those things. And just a word of caution though, when you're adding the cream cheese and you're adding the beer and like the ranch dip and the cheddar, it's usually sharp cheddar that I like to use. And again, you're serving it with pretzels as your vehicle, but it can get really beery if you're not careful. And probably you could probably identify with cooking or whatever with beers, a little bit of a fine line. So if we were going to use spotted cow for that, but maybe there's other suggestions.
There
What
is, if
do you
yeah.
think
If you
about
can't
that?
get spotted cow, Guinnessy cream ale, it's Genessee. That is a somewhat good comparison because spotted cow, a lot of people consider it a cream ale, but it's actually a saison farmhouse style beer, is how it's actually like described and how they brew it. But that is a good comparison if you want a similar beer to brew with, or not to brew with, to make beer cheese with. But we've done it with PBR before. We've made great beer cheese. I mean, any kind of
Awesome.
like light on the lighter side beer would work. And as far as what beer to drink to pair with it, you can drink the spotted cow, you can drink the Guinnessy cream ale, but like you said, a lot of these beer cheeses ended up being sharp. So with some sharp cheddar, I would recommend going hops. So get out those IPAs. IPAs are one of my go-to favorites. I tried to find some beers that were a little bit sports themed. So we got
cool.
the goat on here, played for It's All About the U and the Baltimore Ravens.
I love
So
it.
I mean, IPAs are readily available. You can get a New Belgian one or, Goose Island or anything like that. But yet the hops cut the sharp cheddar well. And also if you have anything spicy, like if you're doing spicy nachos or anything, the IPA with some citrus in it. So you want to get like with citra hops or anything that says juicy on it. Those will cut the spice a little bit and
That's
make it
awesome.
so they pair well.
Yeah, I always have a spicy dip for sure. Usually I make this it's really basic, like a cheesy rotel dip, which is, I don't know, it's probably not the best
like
for
you
you.
put
But
in the crock pot.
oh yeah, it's
So
so
good.
good. It's addicting. So that's good to know because that's something that I would do for sure. Totally. And then, so maybe we're having dip at the party. We're doing our meatloaf that's in the shape of a football. So the key with the football meatloaf too, I should reiterate, like to make it look like a football, you're cutting pieces of cheese to put on the top to make the little threads,
Laces out.
the laces. Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, it was really a lot of fun. It's a fun kind of food for everybody. So then if we're watching the halftime entertainment, you and I should talk about that because I know this year it's sort of a big deal. Rihanna is going to be doing the halftime show, and I'm certain it's going to be amazing and great. The one thing I'm going to do this year, which is maybe juvenile, I think it's hilarious actually, is the 19th anniversary of the wardrobe malfunction, like Gate or whatever, right? So as long as we're on the topic of like beer and food and booze and whatever, and usually like I'm a bourbon scotch whiskey person, and on one of my latest podcasts on the Fan Bus, I had an expert, like a bourbon steward. And anyways, so me learning about beer is fabulous, but I think a cool opportunity would be this year, and especially next year for the 20th anniversary, is during the halftime, maybe everybody comes together and you do a shot of a slippery nipple or a buttery nipple.
Nice.
I know.
I did not see that coming.
So
much like the world didn't during that halftime show.
Oh my God, right. So that would be something that, I just wanted to clarify the differences between the slippery nipple is the one that makes most sense, right? And that's a fourth of an ounce of grenadine, which is optional apparently, but you're mixing a half ounce of Sambuca chilled, and then also a half ounce of Irish cream. So Sambuca is kind of funny. Some people love it and some people don't. So you could go the buttery nipple route if you wanted to do something a little more even keel and sweeter. And that's 1 ounce of the butterscotch schnapps and a half ounce of Irish cream. So it's kind of like a dessert and kind of a funny, fun little thing to celebrate.
And if you're drinking with Guinness, pour some of that Irish cream in there and do a car bomb. There you go.
Boom. Yeah, quickly, very quickly.
Yeah. I haven't done car bombs in a long time for a very good reason.
So nostalgically, do you have anything to say about the Super Bowl halftime shows. Like I know last year was really a great one where they had like Mary J. Blige and Snoop and like Eminem, and it was pretty cool. And
Last year was
everybody loved it.
amazing. I don't know how they're going to top last year.
I
I mean,
know.
I was just, my kids were like, why are you so excited? I was like, reasons. This is an amazing lineup. You had 50 Cent come out and everything. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure Rihanna is going to do fantastic. She's a fantastic performer, but it's
Right.
going to be a hard act to follow.
Everybody's betting whether or not she's going to open up an umbrella on stage.
Oh, I'm
And-
sure she will.
So I was like, oh, that's so cute. They're betting on that. That's fabulous. I love it because normally it's like, how long does the anthem go and all that kind of thing. And
I know they'll bet on anything. It's so funny, but I mean, it makes it definitely more entertaining. But I did come up with a drinking game, and I started to think of what would I do during the halftime, and I'm like, maybe anytime she says umbrella or a variation of umbrella.
I love it.
But I can go through that real quick. There are
let's do
certain things, obviously, you know, if you're going to be chugging, drink with a lower ABV beer, not the 12% beer that I just opened. That would be a terrible idea. So we are a podcast that drinks craft beer and then talks geek things. So I'm going to try to combine those two into this drinking game. So take a sip every time either team gets a point. So that means if they get a touchdown, you got to drink 6 sips. You know, they get that extra point, you drink 1 sip. They get just a field goal, you got to drink 3 sips.
Hammered.
Anytime there's a first down, this is just a sip though.
Okay.
Interception, timeout. And anytime a beer or comic book ad shows up on the screen during the game, finish your beer before the ad is over.
Oh my gosh. Championship effort.
And so for some people, a lot of times they don't realize what, you know, Shazam, that's a comic book. John Wick, that's a comic book. We're supposed to see the Marvels and we're supposed to see the Flash. And of course, there's always fantastic beer commercials.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. For real. Yeah.
But as far as the halftime show, I figure, you know, sit there and enjoy it. And, you know, what we're going to talk about dessert in a minute. So I think that's a perfect time to enjoy your dessert and your beer to pair with that.
It would be super cool to hand out, like when people come in to do like a drinking game for halftime show and for commercials is good. And you could even do it during the game too, with football terminology too, you know, like touchdown, penetration, you know, extra point, or anytime there's a penalty, that would be a fun way to do it too. So I love the idea of a drinking game that's not so crazy. So that's awesome.
And don't drive.
Oh
and
gosh.
Athletic
Designated
Brewing
hitter.
does fantastic non-alcoholic beer if you are driving. So
good.
definitely put that
You can
disclaimer
always
out
go
there.
NA. You can always go NA. And that's
Yes.
a good point to bring up too. I mean, even so when I was making my dips and whatever that has the beer, and of course you could use an NA beer. And so many of them are really flavorful. Am I right? Like,
oh yeah.
Just you kind of almost can't tell the difference probably in some cases.
Yeah. No, we did a whole turkey one year with a beer brine. That was fantastic. And I mean, you can, you know, make it, stronger if you want to. If you want to get that beer flavor in it, you know, you can just do a stronger beer, you know, make it with an IPA. But if, you just want to kill it, because you don't taste the beer always. Like my kids love beer cheese and they don't, you know, they're not drinking beer. The alcohol's cooked out of it, but it definitely adds more fun flavors.
Oh my gosh, for real. Totally. Absolutely. So the other thing that I had cooking was I came up with a brownie. And I'm this person who anytime I'm having a party, like I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to spend all my time in the kitchen. That's total bogus. Like I don't have it in me. So anytime I can cut corners, I'm totally going to. So I developed the legendary brownie, right? Like the goat of all brownies, I feel like. But it's really made from a box mix. So if somebody wants to do this brownie thing and you want to make it from scratch, like knock yourself out. But I'm always going to let, you know, a Betty Crocker do my heavy lifting or whatever, because I don't have time. And so the whole idea too is that I'm going to tweak it, right? So like you make a brownie, a fudge brownie, but you're adding, like if you add a little cardamom and a little bit of a nutmeg in it, you're going to get a little bit of a complexity going, even so it's a box mix. Okay. So then the idea with that dessert was to go ahead and make a caramel sauce with a little bit of orange like squeezed into it. So I bought a caramel sauce, squeezed some orange into it to kind of give a little bit of depth, and then pour it over the top of the brownie with, again, I did squirt a little bit of orange on top of the whole thing. And then, you know, Ready Whip or Cool Whip or whatever, pecans and an orange slice that actually I was eating the orange slice while I was eating the brownie. And it was crazy, crazy. So if you were going to pair a beer with that, like a dessert type beer, or what is your recommendation on that whole thing of like a super rich dessert.
So whenever I think dessert, I automatically go porters and stouts. And like, I mean, you could fall into a whole rabbit hole with that because porters and stouts are very similar, but they're also very different. And like, there's a whole argument thing if you go into the craft beer world on how similar and different they are. But honestly, a good smooth porter would go great. I did find a porter that's got the guy from The Big Lebowski, and he's
my
bowling.
gosh.
So yeah, I tried to go a little sports themey.
You and I need to hang out for real.
Well, I had to look through my beer fridges too. I'm like, okay, which ones would be good? But it's so easy. I mean, honestly, Guinness is always a great stout to go with everything. But with all these little add-ons that you're doing too, because you can go even further outside the box. So with stouts and porters, you got a lot of that roasty chocolate flavor, and you get like hints of coffee in a lot of these darker beers, which
I
pair
love.
well.
Yeah.
And a deliciously widely distributed one is from North Coast Brewing in Fort Bragg, California, called Old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout. Great one. Solid beer. Love that one. And a great porter that's widely distributed is Dew Claw Sweet Baby Jesus. So both of those would pair great with any kind of rich chocolatey dessert. But then when you mention like caramel and pecans, and if you want to do like a lighter beer, if maybe like, okay, this is too heavy on heavy, then I recommend doing something like a red or an amber ale. So anything like that, this is just a nice one from Epic Brewing. They're starting to distribute a little more. They just made it to Arizona. So that's a good amber ale. Which amber ales, I mean, well, New Belgium's in the process of redoing their fat tire, but their fat tire is an amber ale. So that's one that could kind of complement some of those caramel notes that you would get. You can pull those from the beer as well. So those are my recommendations.
You're a total professional because you're talking about these and describing them for what they are, not by brand necessarily to start with, because obviously regionally not everybody's going to be able to get their hands on all of these certain things. So that's brilliant. I love that.
Big advocates of buying local when you can. So like if you can't, but you never know what a brewery is going to have. So when you go to that local Total Wine or ABC, they always have local sections. So I always recommend starting there. Support your local beers. But we have so many fantastic beers that are widely distributed now. Even these ones that have been bought by InBev and everything. A lot of them are still making great beer. I mean, they've streamlined some of it, and obviously our quality and standards also go up over the years, but it's just, there's great beer out there. So enjoy great beer. There's no point in drinking bad beer. I'm too old for that.
Who would waste their time on such a thing?
I will say, it is more expensive to drink good beer. I will say that.
Your beer, you're like, oh, my beer fridge. You probably have beer fridges, plural. Like your beer collection is probably like my bourbon and scotch collection.
I got some great bourbon barrel aged stouts in here too. So
I love it. That's so cool. So so part of the whole entertainment thing, right, is halftime shows and the commercials. And I just wanted to say, like, I'm going to give my my personal top 5 performances of halftime shows of all time that I loved completely. Like I loved last year's, was great. And I think that Bruno Mars did a really good show, and not that many people talk about it, and probably because his nipple didn't come out, but whatever. And then the Justin Timberlake show was also pretty good. All time. Michael Jackson was a very big deal, obviously, but like the GOAT of all Super Bowl performances, hands down, was definitely, and I don't know who's going to argue with me about this, was Prince, when he was actually singing Purple Rain in the pouring down rain. Like that was one of those things where I was watching it, I was like, are you serious? Is this happening right now? Come on. But it's so entertaining. Like the Super Bowl itself, and again, like all of this entertainment has been going on for a week, right? Like people having interviews and all these like shows about the best of commercials and the best of halftime shows and Super Bowl moments, and it's a really big deal. And I don't know, it kind of brings people together, and I feel like too, doesn't it? Do you guys have a party usually or no?
We usually end up doing something with people. It's hard because it's on a school night. They need to just make Monday an official holiday already. It's the most called in day of the year. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. They're trying to do that. Did you hear that?
I heard,
pair it with like President's Day or something.
They should, or like replace it with Columbus Day, which is in October.
Maybe it was Columbus Day. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
What are they doing?
I'm all for it. Where do I sign?
What a bunch of nerds. Seriously, get on that. Get on it. It probably would lose less money when people calling in sick and not showing up. No call, no show days for sure. Exactly. So what about commercials? Do you want to talk commercials? Do you want to talk beer commercials? You're a beer girl.
Yes. So, I mean, and like I said before, I'm all about the craft breweries. Now, I used to be a huge Budweiser fan. I mean, I could not drink enough Budweisers. But as much as I'm like, support the small guy, InBev, still they kill the beer commercial games. And I genuinely look forward to those. And it's, InBev and Budweiser is such a rich history in our nation, through Prohibition and all of that. So, I mean, some of my favorite ones, of course, Budweiser frogs, Budweiser. I feel like I'll still say it like that. My kids will be like, why are you saying Budweiser like that?
You're like, I'm kind of a nerdy geek that way. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Didn't you know?
Like, you wouldn't understand.
Right.
Then we have the What's Up. Remember the What's Up? And then, of course, they did that in Scary Movie. And they were doing the What's Up with the ghost face. So I always, think whenever I hear What's Up, I think of the Bud commercials as well.
For sure.
And then Dilly Dilly's taken off. And that's been a lot of fun. And there was actually even like I should have looked up the story beforehand. I forgot. There was some brewery that actually did something with Bud Light or sent in something or a letter, and like Bud Light actually showed up, or somebody like a representative from there and did something with the Dilly Dilly. I can't remember now. I don't want to say more and like butcher the story. I should have looked that up. Damn
I
it.
love Dilly Dilly. I think the Dilly Dilly commercials were awesome. And I just couldn't stop saying it. And I was annoying everybody everywhere that I went, because everything I was like, Dilly Dilly, Dilly Dilly.
Mhm.
And the other cool thing that usually popped up that was always super popular for quite a while was the Bud Bowl. Do you remember they had the beer bottles that would like play football or whatever? That was kind of a
right.
big
And they'd be
deal.
like playing in the rain.
Yeah. And so everybody was like, oh, Bud Bowl, like who's going to win? And that was always funny. And of course, I love any of the Clydesdale commercials that Budweiser comes out. It's like, how am I watching the Super Bowl and crying during a beer commercial? Like, what the hell's going on?
Because they know what they're doing, man. I'll be like, I don't even want to drink a Budweiser now. I want to drink a Budweiser.
Yeah, marketing at its finest. Like there's like Sami coming out as like sucker right here. Like I don't even drink beer, but I was like,
exactly.
It makes me want to go buy a horse.
But the best I gotta say is the Bud Ice Penguins. Do you remember the doobie doobie doo?
Yes.
Beware of the penguins. I love those ones. They did so many of them, and they were like a scary noir kind of thing.
Those were
But,
super
yeah.
cute. I loved those. I really
Need to bring
did.
some of those back. Bring back the penguins.
For real. What are they doing?
I
know. So a lot of people just watch just for the commercials. And I'm kind of that person where like, I have to watch the game. I don't want to miss any of the game. And I don't want to miss the commercials. So I'm like, when am I supposed to pee? Like, help a girl out here. Could we have some like,
yeah, I don't know.
like a legit intermission where there's just songs?
You gotta put the TV in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. Don't even
yeah.
suggest it. That'll be the next thing for sure.
But some of them, I feel like you talking about the halftime show, I forgot about a lot of that until you said it. So I'd love to hear what some of other people's favorite beer commercials are in the chat.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Or commercials in general. Because I know like some epic, like iconic commercials, like the Cindy Crawford Pepsi commercial where those like little boys are watching her get a Pepsi. That was dropped on the Super Bowl. And also the Mean Joe Green, the Coke commercial was dropped during the Super Bowl too. And these are like these weird iconic commercials that people probably don't even realize like that's when they first dropped. You know? So it's kind of cool.
Because then you see them for the next 5 years on all sorts of different channels and forums.
Yeah. So we only have a couple of minutes, but we should remind everybody that you have an opportunity to comment about your score prediction so that you can win possibly a Jonathan Taylor signed jersey. Kind of a big deal. No big deal, right? So everybody should get on that for sure. And just a quick thing that I wanted to ask you, if people have time and you were going to do a beer flight of some kind at your party, what are your recommendations real quick for that?
Now, if you want to do a flight, obviously you want to get like a variety of stuff. I'm not always the best at that. I'll go to a brewery and be like, can I have 4 IPAs and a stout? But if you really want to start like experiencing some of the different flavors, and you want to go in a specific order too, because otherwise you wreck your palate. Like if you start with a double IPA, the Pilsner is not, you're not going to get much flavor out of the Pilsner because your palate's already wrecked.
Yeah.
So I would start with something like a Pilsner. That is a lager. It's crisp and refreshing. And Pilsners and like these basic lagers, a lot of these breweries are doing now, they're coming out with phenomenal lagers. Like you didn't know they could taste that good. So like here's a local one, just a nice light lager. And also if you're playing a little beer pong or anything, that's great for that too. Then I would go Saison. Saisons have a little bit more kick to them, a nice flavor. One, if you're in the Miami area or Fort Lauderdale area and you're a Miami Dolphin fan, Funky Buddha drops a undefeated Saison every year as soon as the last undefeated team of the season loses, because they're still, that's what we're clinging to, is the undefeated. So it's undefeated Saison. It's got cute little nice teal and orange on the bottle. Funky Buddha Brewery in Oakland Park, Florida. And then you got to go IPA. I love IPAs. If you don't like IPAs, I would try a hazy. Hazies are more subtle on the IBUs, which is the International Bitterness Unit. So if you don't want that like punch of hops in your face, go with more something like a New England or a hazy. Then you can go porter. Depending on how much of a punch in the face the IPA is, you might want to switch these two.
Okay.
So if you have a high IBU IPA, you might want to do that after the porter. And then I always say end it with a barrel-aged stout or an imperial stout. This is actually an imperial stout with coffee in it from Hubbard's Cave in Chicago.
I love it.
But yeah, because once you go barrel-aged stout, that's all you're going to taste, especially if you got that bourbon aftertaste. And if it's at the end of your flight, it's had time to warm. And so a lot more of the flavors will come out.
Wow.
So that's one of my favorite thing about drinking these heavier beers. I'm going to be asleep before the game comes on. Is every sip is like better. So it's, of course, except that last sip. The last sip is never the best. But
Awesome.
Yeah, go Pilsner, Saison, IPA, porter, barrel-aged stout.
Perfect. Awesome. And that, I think, is the perfect formula for a perfect party to be perfectly entertained. We did it. Cheers to everybody. I think now we move on to Rookie of the Year. That's what I heard.
Cheers.
Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of Sophistication Station. I am Andrew Leduc, aka Mr. Mallard, and today I am going to be presenting the NFL Rookie of the Year for the 2022-2023 season. This year, after a very close call, it's going to go to none other than the New York Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson was taken 10th overall in this past draft, and he did not disappoint with the high draft capital invested in him. He was on an inept offense with three different QBs between Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Kevin White. But he still delivered to play all 17 games, have 147 targets, which was 6th in the league. He had 83 receptions, which was good enough for 16th in the league as well. Not to mention he had over 1,000 yards. He was 14th in the league in yards. He had 9 red zone targets. And like I said, to come from three different QBs, especially who those QBs were, Joe Flacco, Mr. Noodle on himself, Zach Wilson, Mr. Mom Chaser himself, and Kevin White was the best out of the three of them, Garrett Wilson is poised for another big year in his year 2 next year. But it's all about this past year, and he delivered this past year, so that's why, for me, on Sophistication Station here, Garrett Wilson is your Rookie of the Year.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course.
The cutest statement we've heard all night. All right, let's get things started. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's Champs or Chumps Big Game Special Edition. We are super fired up indeed, no pun intended. Let's start our introductions. Welcome into the studio, the overseer, overlord, I guess, if you will, of festivities tonight. It's Judge Jordan. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
All right, nice. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure, and always enjoy doing a little judge work on the side.
Absolutely, and this is the final judgment, if you will, for this season. Let's welcome into the studio first, Jim from Santa Boot First. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, Judge. The hair's on point tonight, Your Honor. Just wanted to point that out.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Kissing that butt already. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, that's the way you do it. Hey,
I'm liking it. I'm liking
You got
it.
greasing. You know about greasing makes it Philly.
That's it. You know how to butter where your bread is, as they say. Let's also welcome to the studio JP from Chief Focus. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. We tried to do this a few times this year, and it just didn't work out. But now we got it straightened out. So
you know what? We got it when it mattered, and this is the big one when it matters indeed. Well, let's start out tonight. Round one, our champ round. We're going to start with the QB position. Jim, we'll start with you. Give us the argument for why your QB is going to be a champ this Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm going to leave the numbers and the statistics to the side, right? There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. The numbers will tell you whatever you want the numbers to tell you. I'm going to tell you that Hurts, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. The kid's hungry. He says he's starving. He's focused. He's healthy, as from what they're telling us he's healthy. And again, he's just got something to prove. Second round pick. I think the whole NFL had doubted him until maybe people started to come around week 13 before he got hurt. There's just a lot of doubters, and I think he's looking to prove some people wrong. So Jalen is going to be out there. He's in the biggest spotlight. This is where he can say, this is me, Philly. I'm your franchise quarterback. Pay me those big bucks. I'm ready to sign on the line and bring Philly another Super Bowl.
For what it's worth, Jalen having an MVP-type season, this is basically a layup for both of you guys. Let's go on to JP. Let me alley-oop this easy one for you. Let's give your champ argument for your QB coming up this Super Bowl Sunday.
You know, I'm not going to go into the statistically the best 5 years any quarterback's ever had in the history of football. I'm not going to go into that. But I will say 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, on one leg, missing 3 wide receivers. That says it all in an AFC championship game. If that doesn't tell you anything, nothing does. But the man's broken every record there is in a 5-year span. You cannot, look, if he played for the Raiders, and I hate the Raiders, he's the absolute best quarterback in football. There's nobody better than him. Competitive-wise, he's a lunatic. He puts everything on the line every time he plays, especially in the playoffs. I mean, his playoff record speaks for itself. He's amazing. The man's got over 300 yards. He averages over 300 yards a game in the playoffs. That's in the playoffs. I don't know that any quarterback has ever been able to do that in this, in any era. I don't think Brady did that ever. So I think he had one game maybe that he had 300 or 400 yards in a playoff for a Super Bowl. So, honestly, it's just difficult when you compare Patrick Mahomes to everybody else because he's not everybody else. So I'll leave it at that. There's really not much more to say. The man's just an animal.
I think anyone watching right now is very envious of both these quarterbacks, especially the judge here. No, I'm just kidding, Judge. Give us your judgment for round number one, my friend.
Great arguments on both sides. And you know what? In almost all my fantasy rosters, I was rocking with Jalen Hurts most of the season. He has that whole other thing going for it. Mahomes can run, but not like Hurts can. And, Mahomes has lost a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts hasn't. But I will say this. It's Patrick freaking Mahomes. Point for JP.
Patrick Mahomes taking round number one. Again, this is pretty much a coin toss. Great QBs on both sides of the field. Definitely. Let's get on to let's ruffle the feathers a little bit. Let's get to round two and get to the chump round. JP, we're going to start with you here. We want to hear the chump argument. Why is the Eagles running attack going to be a chump this Super Bowl Sunday?
Man, that's difficult because I can't say, it's hard to say they are, but I will say this. Strength of schedule plays a huge part in every game. Every season, every team that plays the game. People that think it doesn't, you're just wrong. So when you're going up against teams, that are subpar in the defensive area, which has happened a lot this year with the Eagles, and I'm not saying by any means that they're a bad football team, I'm just saying when you're going up against subpar defensive lines, subpar defenses, it's a little easier to, run the ball. They do have a great offensive line, but I have to see them going against a solid defensive line not a 6-win team or a 4-win team. I want to see him go up against a solid football team and see what they can actually do.
Okay, he's calling him out. Let's see what they can do against a real team, he says. Jim, let's go to you then. I mean, hey, you're from Philly. I know you like the trash talk. Let's hear why the Chiefs running attack are going to be chumps this coming up Super Bowl Sunday.
Can anybody outside of Kansas City name who the running backs are? I mean, you got guys like Ronald Jones and Isaiah Pacheco. And, I mean, come on. The argument of we haven't played good teams, it wasn't Dallas the top, one of the top defenses, and we played them twice. But I will commiserate with the Kansas City fans because we had Andy Reid here. We know Andy Reid doesn't like his running backs. Andy Reid, he passes to run, so you never know who the running back. Jerick McKinnon was a thing for a week or two, right? And he disappeared. So he has a running game. It's an afterthought for Andy Reid. And you look at our defensive line, good luck. You got bigs like Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis clogging up that middle. You're not going to get up there. Try to get to the outside. Good luck getting around Hassan Reddick. Our secondary, you got the safeties back there. If Pacheco tries to pop one, he's going to get popped. So, look, I'll give you round one. You're not taking round two. Running back in Kansas City, don't
Let me
scare
say
me
one
at
more
all.
thing about McKinnon really quick. McKinnon didn't disappear. The man has more receiving touchdowns in the history of the NFL in one season.
That's true.
What happened
That
last
is
week?
true.
Huh?
We're talking now. We're talking present time. What did he do last week?
I'm talking
I don't
about
remember
this.
seeing much of
This
McKinnon.
I'm talking about this season. Now, last week was that was a little different game. Now Burrow, I will say this: Cincinnati has a hell of a defensive line when it comes to they're one of the best in tackling. Their tackling was 98% throughout the season. That's insane. I mean, they stuffed the line really well. They've done that all season long, hands down. We'll have to see how that goes.
Round two going in a little bit of overtime, Judge. What do you say? Jim said there's no way he's losing this round. Do you concur?
I mean, Jim would be right. You want to come in the Eagles' strength of schedule, but the Eagles won the toughest division in football, baby. 3 of the final 4 teams in the NFC came from the East. The one that didn't, San Francisco, best defense in the league. Philadelphia ran all over them. As much as I hate it, Jim gets round 2.
He definitely does.
Fully agree with
I'll
that.
give it to him. I'll give it to him because there's no doubt. I mean,
I wrote my letter to Commissioner Goodell asking him to make our schedule a little tougher for us next year if he could do that. I know everybody was concerned about that, so we've petitioned for a harder schedule next year. I think we'll get it.
Well, it's difficult in the NFC.
I always petition for an easier one. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I'll take a cupcake walk. I don't know what to do. I'll take anything at this point. All right, let's get to round number 3. Going back to the champ round. Jim, let's go to you. This is again a layup for you. Receiver-wise, or I guess pass-catching-wise. Let's hear why they're going to be champs this Super Bowl Sunday.
I don't know. It's a layup, right? I mean, we look across the field, and that guy wearing 97 for the Chiefs is easy Hall of Famer, number 1 tight end this season. But we got a guy on our side in Dallas Goedert that, I'd say he's tight end number 2. And then if you look at the pure pass catchers, the pure receivers, I'll take our receiving core. A.J. Brown's another guy on this team out here to make a statement. Didn't look great the first round. Last week he got into it. Devontae Smith, the kid just makes plays. He continues to be impressive. So I'll take our wide receivers. They're the best. They're the best duo in the NFC. I'll argue with anybody. Maybe the best duo in the AFC. Kansas City, they like to spread the ball. So you don't have a Batman. We have 3 of them. So.
Okay.
So
I'll take our wide receivers.
On my show, TSS Fantasy, I mean, we make fun of the experts because, quite frankly, we're all guessing, right? And I usually get a lot wrong. But one thing I did get right was bury that stack of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. And Devonta Smith, not for nothing, he's on my dynasty team. He's showing up too. So great pass-catching options for these Eagles for sure. Let's go on to the Chiefs. I mean, no slouches here as well. Let's hear about your pass-catching options, why they're going to be champs is coming up Sunday.
Well, Jim actually alluded to it. We are a spread offense. There's no doubt about it. But we have 3 wide receivers over 700 yards, 2 over 800 yards, One, and Kelsey, which is an absolute wide receiver. He's at 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns on the season. We were doubted. Remember, I mean, did anybody watch anything this season, prior to the season starting? We were not going to make the playoffs. There no way in hell we'd make the playoffs. Come on, man, fuck. Seriously. This kid makes average wide receivers look phenomenal. And he's made everybody on this team look great. And not to mention the fact that MVS didn't have a great season. Man, he showed up in the playoffs. And when you take a guy like that, and then you got Tony on top of it, that is basically, joystick 2.0. He's a Dante Hall 2.0. I can't say enough about our wide receivers right now. We were still the number one scoring team in the league in offense. Nobody could touch us with the wide receivers that we had. I would beg to differ if anybody would say we're not the best wide receiver team in the football, because we've hit 10 different people in one game. No team can do that. You can have two guys out there all day long. We've seen that. We've seen that with Tyreek Hill and Waddle. We've seen it with Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. You become predictable, and then you get caged. But when you have 10 guys out there that can catch a ball at any given time, and pretty hard to handle with that.
You have to say, Patrick Mahomes called his shot when Tyreek went to America's team, the Miami Dolphins. He did call a shot, say he was going to distribute the ball around, and he certainly has all season long. He's looked great, and that receiving core, like you mentioned, definitely has been stepping up more in the playoffs, and that's when it really matters. But, Judge, what do you say? Who wins round number 3?
We're out here talking about spread offenses. The only spread I see is how thin the depth chart on Kansas City was spread last week. It seemed like everybody on the damn field was hurt. So with that, A.J. Brown, he's a stud. Devontae Smith, he's a stud. I'm probably not quite as high on Dallas Goedert as Mr. Santa Boot First, but this round goes to Jim and the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, round number 3. He's up 2-1. Let's go into round number 4. The pressure's on. JP, going to you here. We're back to the chump round. Let's hear why this Eagles defense is going to be a chump coming up Super Bowl Sunday.
Again, we go back to strength of schedule. When you are playing teams that don't have great wide receivers, don't have a great quarterback, they may not be one of the top teams in the NFL, you tend to look better. I mentioned on our show that we played 10 top 5 defenses this year. 10. Every time we played a defense, they were top 5. Every time. I don't think they have matched up with a team like ours. They have not matched up with a team with a spread offense like ours, with a quarterback like ours. Oh, by the way, all of our wide receivers are going to be healthy with the exception of McCole Hardman come Sunday. I do got that inside info. So I don't think they're going to be able to handle Tony, Kelsey. Then you throw McKinnon in, you throw MVS in, you throw in, let's not forget Jody Fortson, Noah Gray, Watson. You've got all this plethora of wide receivers that can get the ball at any given time. I don't think they're ready for this. That's my whole spiel on this. They haven't played anybody like us.
I don't think they're ready for this, Jim. Let's go to you. Yeah. Are you ready for this? What do you think about this Chiefs D? Why are they going to be chumps this coming up weekend?
A lot of they're not ready for us. A lot of pretender talk. You guys are the AFC West, right? You got to play Denver and Las Vegas twice each. So, again, the strength of schedule thing, it's getting a little tired. But I will say,
true.
Our defense was number 1, number 2, bell to bell. 15 more sacks than your Chiefs. You have a one-legged Mahomes, an offensive line that can't stand up to our defensive line. But I will say your defensive line, I'm supposed to be focusing on yours, so let me change my argument. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, they are formidable players, right? They do worry me a little bit, even against our all-world offensive line. We see week in and week out Lane Johnson handle every great defensive end, whether it's Micah Parsons or Bosa, or you name them all. They were all supposed to be great, and Lane hasn't given up a sack all year. I don't see that changing this weekend. Outside of Jones, Clark, who's your secondary? Who's going to be – are you going to be able to cover A.J. Brown? You going to have to double him? Does that leave Devontae? Does that leave Dallas? I mean, you could talk about your spread offense, but our defense, our secondary, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay,
I just don't think your defense is ready for us. You may not have played a team like us yet this year. We dictate how the game goes.
Have you not noticed that we have played 5 of the best wide receivers in football, and we have stuffed all 5 of those wide receivers? You're talking about Devontae Adams. You're talking about Mike Evans. God forbid we talk about Chase twice. All the top wide receivers in the NFL, well, our rookies, but our rookies stuff those guys. I don't know where those guys rank on the Eagles right now because it really doesn't matter. But I know how good those wide receivers were. And they weren't that good against our rookies. Our 5 rookies in the backfield. 5 rookies in the backfield.
Was that your defense or the quarterback throwing to those guys? Didn't one of those quarterbacks just lose his job? The guy that was.
Well, he may have. You're talking about one guy out of all of them. I mean, Joe Burrow couldn't get a pass off in the AFC Championship game. He got one decent pass off.
CeeDee Lamb. We can go through
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's we got to finish it up here because we got one last round. We hope anyway. Who wins round number 4? Judge Jordan.
So here's what I'm going to say. Full disclosure: the Philadelphia Eagles have better defense than the Kansas City Chiefs. It's abundantly clear. However, JP said exactly what I needed to hear from him. We have Patrick Mahomes. Point for JP. He's different. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. Patrick Mahomes, he's the game changer.
Well, plus, the game has to go 5 rounds, Judge, so we got to throw that in there as well. So let's get to round number 5.
Need a tiebreaker. Need a tiebreaker, right? Need a cliffhanger.
This is it. It's the money round. We're going to go to round 5. Let's go to Jim first. Let's hear why the Eagles are going to be champs Super Bowl Sunday.
Look, if either of us is a fan of our team, neither of us thinks we're going to lose, right? Let's put that out there. This is going to be an interesting game. It really is. I agree, JP. There's parts of Kansas City that we haven't seen a team like that. A lot of this is going to depend on our defense. It's going to depend on us getting to Mahomes. If we get to Mahomes, then there's nothing your team can do against us, right? And you could say the same against Hurts. He hasn't needed to throw the ball the next 2 games. Our run game is done. And as I said, I feel like the Eagles dictate the way the game goes. We've been the most consistent team from start to finish through the season. I think that continues. It's going to be a close game. I'm not calling for a blowout by any means. But I think Nick Sirianni's going to get his revenge against Andy in the Andy Reid Bowl. He fired Andy. He's pissed off. He's going to show the old man, hey, it's time to bring some new kids in here, some fresh legs. And this is the new NFL, Andy. Continue with your trick plays. You got it there, Andy, but it's time for the new kids to take over. I think the Birds take a win. Do you want our score prediction now? Or we hold off on that?
Not yet. We'll close that out in the end, but I like the way that was running for sure. Big closeout for sure. Let's go to JP. Close us out. Why the Chiefs are going to be champs Super Bowl Sunday.
Let's start off with experience in the playoffs and Super Bowl. I mean, that right there is number 1. You got a guy that in Patrick Mahomes that really doesn't falter in the playoffs. Now, in the Super Bowl, in 2020, the Super Bowl, he had no offensive line. Nobody. I mean, the last guy he had went down in the AFC Championship game. So he was running for his life the entire time. We have the number 2 offensive line in football. Hands down. Number 2 offensive line in football. Mahomes scrambles better than anybody in the game. Nobody can deny that. He scrambles. He gets out of the way. He knows how to work the sidelines. He does everything correct, and nobody can usually catch him. And it's crazy when people talk about this because when you see this man run, he doesn't run straight up the middle most of the time. He's leaning towards his sidelines. They don't know which way because of his eye movement and his hand movement. They don't know if he's going to continue to run or if he's going to run out of bounds. That's been his staple run every time he runs the ball. So, in fact, that's how he scored a touchdown a couple of times because they didn't know which way he was going. But Andy Reid has so much more experience in this type of environment. The entire team does, actually. I don't know how many guys you have left over from your Super Bowl run. I think you have like 3, right?
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah. I know Fletcher Cox was definitely one of them. I mean, the guy's a freaking phenom.
Fletcher, Lane, Kelsey.
Yeah. And Kelsey, of course, and I love Kelsey. But I don't think the experience is there to be able to handle going into this kind of environment, this type of pressure against an our-world head coach. And by the way, he may be an older guy, but he's innovated this game. He brings everything to the game that everybody tries to mimic, and they can't. And you were there. You know how Andy operates.
I
Okay,
know.
This man brings up shit from 1940 and mixes it with a college guy in 1962, and the next thing you know, you got a fucking play on Wednesday that they got to learn and do it on Sunday. There's the experience, the high level of play between Mahomes, Kelsey, and everybody else on that team, and Andy's innovative ways of making just shit happen. The Chiefs are going to win this hands down.
Wow.
It's just they're just going to win this game. There's a revenge factor in this too. Remember, Andy got fired. From your team, and he hasn't forgotten that. So he's got a big, giant playbook. Looks like a Stephen King novel, and he hasn't even got past page 3 yet. So
it's gonna be an exciting game for
Yeah.
sure. Judge, what say you though? You are the judge for at least this realm. Who do you say wins? Champs or Chumps? Big game edition.
Champs or Chumps, big game edition. Super Bowl champion, I believe with all of my heart this year, is going to be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. However, if there's any consolation prize, Jim at Santa Boot first, he's taking home champs versus Chump. Jim gets the point. He's the winner.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
I don't know how that works out.
That's right.
Okay, I'll go along with it. You're the judge. I can't say anything. Hey, you got the hair, so that's all that matters. I mean, as long as you're wearing that, that's all that's real. So
it's all about the wig and the argument on this show, my friend. Congratulations, Jim. You are our
you are the
Super
man,
Bowl
Jim.
winner.
Congratulations.
And his name is John C.
And unfortunately for you, JP, and my
sorry,
friend,
JP.
you are our loser.
Dumbass. Thank these. They call me dumbass. Black guy entertainment. Stupid. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Congratulations to you both. It was a great Champs or Chumps big game edition. Jim, we're going to start with you, my friend. Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, and get all your great content. And also, let's hear the Super Bowl prediction.
First, JP, I know some fine attorneys. If you want to follow and appeal, I'd be happy to help you out with that.
He's an NFC fan. What do you expect? He's a fan of an NFC team.
I'm a Cowboys fan, so I hate
I
the
think he
Eagles.
was fair.
And my AFC team of choice is the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm for them. They're going to win the game. I just thought Jim did a great job.
Yeah, he did. I got to give him that. He did a great job. So what's your score?
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. You can find our podcast. You can find us on Santa Boot First. We go live on Thursday nights on Facebook, YouTube. Philly sports fans mostly focused on the Eagles. We're 3 generations of Eagles season ticket holders. Find us there. We talk other things in sports. My prediction for the game, as I said, if I went against the Eagles, I wouldn't be a true fan. I think 38-24. I think it comes down to a couple big plays, couple big turnovers by the Chiefs that push us ahead, and that party will start early fourth quarter for the Eagles.
Nice. All right. Well, JP, my friend, you might have lost tonight, but you're still a winner in our hearts. Let us know where we can follow, subscribe, get all your great content. and let's hear your prediction as well.
You can find us Chiefs Focus First and 10 Live. We're on every podcast planet or channel on the planet. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're everywhere. We do shows 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sundays. And also you can check us out at www.chiefsfocus.com. We're all over the place. Prediction-wise, I am not going to put a blowout game in this like Jim did, because I just don't want to embarrass him right now. But I will say that the Chiefs will win this game, and Patrick Mahomes will put up 36 points. The defense will hold. I will say 36-24.
Okay, well, it's pretty close.
Not a blow. It's 2 less points.
I did that on purpose, by the way. I did that on purpose.
It's only because the Chiefs are gonna kneel after that last touchdown. They're not.
That's it. I mean, come on, man. They're gonna have like 4 minutes left. You're gonna see Chad Henne in there, and he's gonna be throwing bombs. And he's gonna run a 98-yard touchdown. You know, it's insane. But yeah, that was a great round, man. I loved it.
Yeah, great job, guys. We do appreciate you. Good luck today. This is, again, Super Bowl Sunday, so good luck today. Wish your teams both well and, again, into next season. And we'll hope to be seeing you guys soon. Thank you, guys, once again. And if you're hit the subscribe button while you're watching right now, and also put your prediction in our comments, because we're giving away a signed Jonathan Taylor jersey for those who are hitting in the live comments, so make sure you check that out. We're going to kick it back to our booth, if you will. Let's send it back. Thank you guys both very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And at this point, we were going to introduce the next award. However, we were blessed. The 2-time Emmy award-winning producer, Deborah Wickus, is here. She is live from Glendale, Arizona. She unfortunately didn't get the alarm for the earlier segment, but she popped in. We appreciate you being
I'm here.
Welcome into the studio.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Sorry about that earlier thing. The alarm just did not go off. But it's been crazy here in Phoenix. I've been here since Sunday, having a blast, and interviewing the players, doing tons of events, and it's Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And to your credit, like I said, I was peeping on Instagram, and you have been every place and every party. And last night I noticed you were out late, and I was like, man, ain't no way she wake up. So don't worry, I was already planning on it. You're good. But listen, speaking of all that, I wanted to ask you just about, because none of us unfortunately are there. So tell us just a little bit about the experience of Super Bowl week while you're there, and the events that you have. And the good time that you've had while you're there.
Absolutely. I mean, just, straight away landed here in Phoenix, got my media credentials immediately, and just started to get to work. Media Center was amazing. Got FanDuel, Pat McAfee, everybody, ESPN, CBS Sports, Fox, everywhere. It was buzzing the entire week. Had so much fun there, former NFL, current NFL, just walking around the entire time. Lots of charity events, which was super cool. Started with, Basket of Hope. There was a youth football camp. And then, God, it was, anyway, and I'm trying to think of everyone's names. I've done so much. Lee Steinberg's party was a great time. There was a celebration of women in sports with the This Is It network. Great panels of football players, female football players, Olympians. Just so much information. A lot of talk from athletes to entrepreneurs, the guys who are now retired getting into business, and how to do that transition. It's just been so much. And of course the parties. You've got AC Caswell, former Raider, his party last night, $1 Million Mingle, Super Blast, the Maxim party, the Sports Illustrated party, the Dicka and Jaws Cigars with Stars party. McNabb was there. Westbrook was there. The Eagles cheerleaders, Swoop. I got a picture with Swoop. I've never been so excited. God, it's Game On Gala was a great time as well. Terrell Davis hosted that one, and a bunch of concerts. I mean, it has just been nonstop.
That's awesome. Well, again, like I said, go follow Deb on Instagram. Go follow her on all her social media, because I've been following along and enjoying it with you. What a great time it looks like you're having there. And I do appreciate you popping in, because I know you got a lot of
For
stuff.
sure. We're getting ready to go to the stadium right now. I'm about to put green. I'm about to put green in my hair. So.
Sweet. Well, that leads us to the next question. Prediction time. Give me your big prediction for the Super Bowl.
I mean, I've gone back and forth. I'm always Eagles. I mean, I wouldn't be a true fan. I'm fanning today. I'm no longer Sport Report Deb. I'm fangirling today. I'm taking some time to be an Eagles fan. God, you know what? It's going to be such a good game. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. I'm a little worried about both their injuries. You just don't know. I'm media, and I've been interviewing these guys, and they've been, saying they're good to go, but you just don't know. And then once the plays start, who knows? I mean, it just depends. Great offenses, great defenses. It really just depends who can hold. So I'm at one point in me, I think it's going to be low scoring. Then it's like, okay, if they can't hold the run game, then it's going to be high scoring. So I'm going in the middle. I'm going to go 27-24 Eagles.
Nice. All right. Well, that's a close one. I hope so.
I think it's good. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think, obviously, number one seeds on both sides, and I'm excited for some legit good football. And I hope Eagles come up on top. But and I've been asking everyone's predictions too this entire week, and it's been mixed. Like I was shocked. I thought everybody was going to go Eagles, and it's been about 50-50 here.
It really has. No, you're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. A lot of money on the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Got faith in that offense and Andy Reid. So it's going to be an exciting matchup. I'm super excited. Let everyone know where they can follow and get all your great content.
Absolutely. It's at Sport Report Deb on both IG, TikTok, and Twitter, and Deborah J. Whitkus on Facebook. And also to my website now, debwhitkus.com.
Nice.
So,
well, I appreciate you stopping in. Good luck. Enjoy the game.
Thank
it's gonna
you.
Be a great time while you're there. And you know how to segue, I got to tell you. So it just so happens our injury expert happened to pop in right before I bring him back to our crew. Let's bring our injury expert in. We can talk about some of those injuries real quick going on to today's matchup. Thank you so much, Deb.
Thank you so much for having me.
He's okay.
Brian Scott from the injured list on site. How are you, my friend? Welcome into the studio.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you great. Let's just pretend you're outside a coffee shop at Glendale, Arizona. Wink, wink. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
I'm actually outside a brewery. I'm not inside the brewery, unfortunately, but I'm outside one.
Even better. Even better, my friend. Even better. All right, so the big day today. Let us know about all the injuries going into today's matchup.
So just on the surface, it may not look like there's much going on because the Chiefs and the Eagles, technically speaking, between the two of them, only have one player designated with an injury, and that's Britton Covey, who just popped up on the list on Thursday with a hamstring injury. But don't believe what you see on the surface because the Chiefs are actually battling a few injuries throughout the week. In particular, Patrick Mahomes, as we know, even though he's been officially taken off the injury report, which is ridiculous because he's dealing with a high ankle injury that's only about 3 weeks old, that he aggravated quite a bit in the championship game, in the divisional championship. So I don't expect after 2 weeks that he's made a full recovery. We'll probably end up seeing him get somewhat hampered with this again, depending on how much he has to scramble, whether or not he's pressured back there. So I expect the game plan for the Chiefs to kind of be similar to what they did in the divisional round, where he's probably not going to be too mobile unless he has to be. And that's really going to be contingent on the Eagles pressuring him. So is he 100%? Absolutely not. If he's close to 75 or 85%, though, then the Eagles are going to have their hands full because Mahomes is an extraordinary athlete, as we already know. So, but on top of that, they've been dealing with some injuries to the receiving core in particular, which is very troublesome because Juju Smith-Schuster was dealing with a knee problem. He was actually limited in practice up until Thursday and then practiced in full on Friday. But that might come back to haunt him. We don't know the extent of the injury, but you can probably factor that into his performance if he doesn't show up 100%. L'Jarius Sneed, their cornerback, was dealing with an issue not only with his knee, but also he came off concussion protocol earlier in the week, so he probably wasn't doing too much until he got back on the field and only practiced 1 day full heading into the Super Bowl. So that could factor in to his performance as well. We don't know where he's at. Even though he's cleared from the concussion protocol, you lose a little bit of conditioning and preparation when you're on it. So we'll have to see if that factors in. And then, of course, our favorite, as a Giants fan, our favorite guy, Kadarius Toney, he says he's ready to go. But if history tells us anything, he's probably not. He's dealing with a hamstring and an ankle issue. The hamstring issue is something that keeps repeatedly popping up with him throughout the entire season, going back to when he's on the Giants. And he's missed a significant amount of time for that. I think he only played like 15 snaps in the divisional round matchup because of this. So I don't expect him to really contribute. And if he does, it'll be a short stint at that probably. So despite the fact that these guys are not listed on the injury report, don't let that fool you. They're definitely dealing with stuff. And then on the Eagles side, man, it's unbelievable. They've been healthy the entire season, and it'll be no different heading into the Super Bowl. Like I said, Britton Covey just popped up there on Thursday with a hamstring injury. He's listed as questionable. You might see Devonta Smith do some punt return duties, which might work in the Eagles' favor. And then, they had a bunch of guys earlier in the week that were listed as limited. Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens were all resting minor injuries. And they all have been playing through them, and it doesn't seem to be hampering their performance. The only guy in the Eagles that I thought actually had an injury, who's no longer on the injury list, was Avonte Maddox, their cornerback, who's been dealing with some type of turf toe injury, basically all season, or at least for the last half of the season. And he's been playing through it, and he's been pretty effective. So aside from those players, both teams should be locked in and ready to go. Hopefully it'll make for a great competitive game, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man, we're super excited, and I do appreciate you coming in. I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to make it today, but look at you stopping by in the brewery. I appreciate that. On point. Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all your great content, my friend.
Yeah, so with football winding down here, I'll be doing a lot more baseball stuff, so you can see at Twitter at the Injured List, at host Brian Scott, Instagram, Facebook, the Injured List podcast. And then I'll be joining the Belly Up crew later this afternoon at about 4 o'clock with our pre-game Super Bowl shows. You can catch up on me there too if you missed this scene.
Yeah, make sure you go check out Belly Up's great show as well. A lot of great contributors as there. Our Mr. Mallard, we saw him earlier. He's going to be on there. A lot of great contributors are there, so make sure you go check them out. And Brian will be on there as well for your late minute update. Brian, we appreciate you. Ironically enough, you're on our Sunday show, which is great because you are about to witness our Fantasy Jesus Award. On Sunday, we always put our hands and pray. Let's check it out. It's our Waiver Savior Award, and then we're going to bring back our guest. Bri, appreciate you coming in, sir.
All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy the game.
Too, man.
Fantasy Jesus here on this very special Super Bowl Sunday, and congratulations to both the Eagles and the Chiefs for not only making it here, but helping our fantasy teams make it to the championship with greatness. Once again, I am your Fantasy Jesus, and I am here to bring you a very special award that's near and dear to my heart. It is the Waiver Savior Award for the best waiver wire claim of the year. This is the player who made your team at that back end, who put in that stretch run, who put up those big points when nobody thought he would. And guess what? He did it in impeccable fashion. He was from week 13 to week 18, the number 2 running back in PPR, and he had a rousing 124 points during that stretch, really putting you over, having multiple 40-point performances. The winner of the Waiver Savior Award, is AFC Championship winning running back and Super Bowl performer today, Jerick McKinnon from the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations, Jerick. Fantasy Jesus gives you the stamp of approval, and you are this year's Waiver Savior of the Year. Have a good one. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.
Gotta love Fantasy Jesus. Thank you so much. And look who's back. Our crew is here. That's right. That's right, Eric. We pay for those big money graphics for sure. Welcome in, everyone. Appreciate you guys. What a great effort and great show you guys put on today. Hey, you know what? We're back in the mix, though, back together again. Let's close this puppy out and let's talk about the game ourselves. We've heard from everybody and their mama, so let's hear from us. Nikki, I'm going to go to you first with some game day questions. Which team do you think has the biggest advantage at the coaching position today?
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Andy Reid. We talked about this on the Eagles segment, which I know was a couple hours ago. Something to be said for experience, right? And he's going up against his old team. So listen, he's got some big balls. We've seen it. He will call these plays that just, they work, right? He takes his talent and he works with what he has. He doesn't try to fit them in the box. So he's been there before. This team's been here before. The Eagles have a really young team. I know they're a little inexperienced. So I am going to edge to Andy Reid, who's probably one of the most creative play callers I've ever seen.
Certainly a good call there. I don't think you'll hear a big argument either way. Two great coaches. Let's go to Ilio here, talking about another another question can go either way. Which QB will shine the brightest today, my friend?
Wow. Both QBs had a hell of a season. Look, I was one of the biggest Jalen Hurts critics coming into the season. I compared him to Lamar Jackson, how much he did not improve year over year. He shut me up. I had him in a couple of leagues, got me to the playoffs. With that being said, much improved as he was, the man of the hour has to be Patrick Mahomes. He's been there, done that. Lost one of the best receivers in the game in Tyreek Hill. Came back by having, again, he led the league in passing yards. Had a bunch of touchdowns. Just beat the Bengals team in one leg last week. Prove all the doubters wrong. Won the MVP, the offensive game MVP. Remember, when they lost Tyreek Hill, they said, there goes the money train, right? Let's see what, Patrick Mahomes is really going to do. The man kind of was disrespected before the season even started just because of one move player. So I'm actually going to go with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be the guy that's going to shine. Listen, one-legged, no-legged, it doesn't matter. This guy's going to get busy. Jalen had a great season, but the money train stops here. Guess what, man? You got to give it to Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be the quarterback that's going to step up and going to shine.
Certainly a good argument. Could have used you on Champs or Chumps.
Yeah, really. Is this Champs or Chumps right now? What's going on?
Let's go to Eric. Let's get dark with it. Who's your dark horse player that's going to shine out today?
I think it's our waiver savior, Jerick McKinnon. Yeah, it's been a couple games. Yes, he had 0 receptions in the divisional, and yeah, he didn't exactly show up in the AFC Championship game, but this guy has given them 31, 52, 70, 112 receiving yards this year. He had the 112 against Denver. He had another 52 against Denver, I think, on 5 receptions. And I think this Eagles pass rush is similar. They're going to get home quickly, and he's going to have to dump it off. And if a guy like McKinnon catches 5-6 balls, you get him out in space, he's going to get some yardage. So that's who I see. That's who I see helping the Eagles the Chiefs across the finish line, who we don't expect.
Nice. I love it. All right, let's go to your tag team partner. What do you think will be the biggest disappointment today? Who's the biggest Phlanders Phlop?
All right, Commish, I think that we'll just go with the outside receiving core for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be your flop. I think these Eagles cornerbacks are about to play shutdown. They're going to rely on Kels. That's all they got. They got Kels and Mahomes. That's it. Everybody else is going to be taken out of the equation. This defense is real. I got the Eagles winning 17-24.
Ooh, we didn't even get to prediction yet, but I
wow.
like it. I know he's did it
Sorry
early.
about that.
That's all good.
Yeah.
That's all good. That's all good. All right, let's go to Jordan, the judge. Who's your MVP for defense today? Who do you think?
So Chris is absolutely right. This Eagles defense is ferocious. They are phenomenal. They are the better defense. 4 different players had more than 11 sacks, led by Hassan Reddick, who had 16. Absolutely will make some noise today. But on the other side of the ball, I think Chris Jones is absolutely key to Kansas City actually winning this game. And when it mattered most against Cincinnati, an offense that I'll say again is better than this Eagles offense, Kansas City was able to sack Joe Burrow 5 times. They got 12 quarterback hits, 7 pass deflections, and 6 tackles for loss. So give me Chris Jones as the fantasy MVP of this game.
All right, make note of that, everyone. Let's go around the room, round robin for this question. Nikki, we'll start with you. Who's your overall MVP today?
Pat Mahomes.
Period, point blank.
Period, point blank. That's it. I want to know why we didn't chumps this between us. We should have done that.
We should. True story. But I figured after 3.5 hours,
No, we're not doing it now. We got to drink and eat. So
True story. All right, let's go to Ilio next. What do you say, my friend? Who's your MVP today?
I'm also going to go I'm going to write Patrick Mahomes until the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
All right,
right?
bro? And again, one thing I've mentioned to add, the reason why he's my MVP, apart from everything I mentioned earlier, he has a chip on his shoulder because he lost the Super Bowl 2 years ago as being the overwhelming favorite. The shoe has turned to the other foot. He's going for it.
Real Fresh Channel. Thanks for popping in. What up to you, my homie? All right, Eric, let's go to you. Who's your MVP pick today?
I think it's going to be Travis Kelce. They win the game. Pat Mahomes throws 3 touchdowns, but Kelce catches 2 of them, one of them being the game winner, and maybe Pat throws a pick or 2 and knocks himself out of contention.
Oh, hey, getting real detailed. How about you, Chris? What do you think?
All you Alabama recruits, get ready because the pamphlets are coming. Jalen Hurts is going to get his first MVP. Nick Saban's going to ride that like a fucking pony in every goddamn recruiting living room for the next 20 years. So that's what I got.
Okay, I like it. Jordan, let's go to you, sir.
So, man, Eric stole my thunder absolutely and said everything I want to say. Give me Travis Kelce. I do think this Eagles defense is going to give Mahomes a little bit of problems, and I think it's Kelce's big day that will propel them.
All right, well, let's stick it there. I'm sorry, let's stick it with you. My bad. I don't want to stick it in there, but let's go to Jordan with the pick of the day. We're going to the overall pick. Who do you think will be the winner, the champion for the NFL this year?
Kansas City Chiefs 34-31.
Oh, and he got the score out. He's ready to go. Chris, how about you, friend? What do you got for your pick?
Let me real quick shout out my daughter Peanut, her 17th birthday. I love you, honey. Happy
birthday,
birthday.
Peanut.
Woo! One more year than she's 18. All right, so then I got the Eagles 100%. You want the score now?
Might as well. It's prediction time.
24-17.
Okay, I like you. Eric?
I think the Kansas City Chiefs win this one 31-29. Philly pulls off a fourth quarter 2-pointer, but it's not enough.
Nice. I like you. How about you, Elio?
Chiefs 27-24.
Chiefs 27-24. Real Fresh chimes in with 24-21 Chiefs. Nikki, do I go to you yet? How about you?
Not yet. 31-28 Chiefs.
31-28 Chiefs. So as I pull up the graphic and get my fat fingers on here, I'm also going to go with the Eagles, and I'm also agree with Chris. I like Jalen Hurts to be MVP today. Felt like he was robbed with the regular season MVP. Had such a great year this year. And the Real Fresh channel, by the way, wanted to shout out Peanut as well. So happy birthday to Peanut. But again, what a great year Jalen had this year. And I felt like he might have got robbed a little bit, not getting the regular season MVP. So today is the day he proves everyone wrong and goes out to shine. I like the Eagles 35-21 in a bigger blowout than what people may anticipate.
Ooh,
I like you. I like you going out there on a limb. All right, so we're going to close things out. If you've been with us, Hallelujah. Thank you to you. We do appreciate it. We're going to give a shout out first to our sponsors, Underdog Fantasy. Don't forget, use the promo code TSS. We're going to double your deposit up to $100. Go to Jazz
Boom, you just
Sports.
won a bet.
Go to Jazz Sports. We're going to double that, we're going to give you some kind of update. I don't even know what the promo is. I forgot. My bad. But we'll give you something. Use TSS. I got you. And then Pro-Am Belts. Thank you guys as well. We appreciate it. I cannot thank my co-hosts enough. Obviously, all of our great guests were amazing. So thank you all very much. Let's close out with our great host. Nikki, I'll start with you. Let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all your great content.
Yeah, you guys can find me on all social media platforms at NikkiNick9384. Please subscribe to the Giants Guys YouTube channel. You can find us Monday nights, and Wednesday nights will be Rush Hour at 7 o'clock, which is my show for the fans, and I will have all these guys come on. Stay tuned this week because we are reading mean tweets about ourselves, so that should be interesting.
We do appreciate it. Real fresh. Thank you. We appreciate that. Ilio, my friend, let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, get all your great content.
All right, one-stop shop, Joe's _talk on Twitter, and then just go to the bio, click on the link tree, and you're gonna have you'll be able to find me on all the platforms that my podcast is available.
Beautiful. Gotta love it. All right, let's go to the tag team over here. Chris and Eric, where can we follow, subscribe, get all your great content?
PatriotSportsNow.com. That's where you can find our blogs and links to our podcasts, and at Patriots Pod on the Twitter, and right here on the Fantasy Sports Corp channel.
We will be live here with Plus Money Golf starting this week. Ooh. We will be live betting, props, winners, everything PGA, Plus Money Golf on this channel. And then we will be having MLB. We have Fastballs and Family going to start on this network right here, Fantasy Sports Corporation. You can find us all Major League Baseball season long. So that's fucking forever, because it's also known as the fucking dry season, the desert. We'll be looking for an oasis at draft. I bet we're going to put something together for the draft. I'm excited. Jason, thanks for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you're watching this even later on, put a prediction in the comment section. We're going to give away a signed Jonathan Taylor jersey. We're going to do it at our halftime stream. We're going to check back with you guys. Just check back in for a few minutes. We're going to have some prop bets, stuff to talk about, and we're going to give away our Jonathan Taylor jersey then as well. Let's go to Jordan, my friend, where we can follow, subscribe, and get all your great content.
Come check me out on Facebook, True Serum Football. Find me on YouTube at Fantasy Sports Corporation or on Twitter at True Serum FF.
And before we close out, I think we got one more award, my friend. Would you like to go ahead and present that?
Yeah, each year True Serum Football puts together a 144-team tournament, and then we have a Champions League the following year. This year, our champion was Nate Schoen, and our Fantasy MVP Award is named after him. So here is our Fantasy MVP Award winner.
What's up, everybody? It's Joey Fickles from Truth Serum Football. First of all, congratulations to Nathan Schoen for winning our 144-team tournament, aka TSF 144. Nathan outlasted some of the best and brightest minds in fantasy today, making him True Serum Football's most valuable player. And speaking of most valuable, voted for by you, the fantasy MVP was Austin Eckler. The Nathan Schoen Award goes to Austin Eckler, scoring a whopping 21.9 fantasy points per game, finishing as 2022 RB1, almost a full point ahead of the RB2. While having an average draft position as 2.9, Eckler finished as a consistent week in, week out fantasy stud. Once again, congratulations to you, Nate Schoen, Nasty Nate, my dog, and Austin Eckler, the fantasy MVP, the Nathan Schoen Award.
Nathan, congratulations to you, my friend. Once again, on behalf of all my hosts, we appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you to all our guests who made this such a great episode. This will definitely be a tradition for the ages. We'll definitely be doing this again. Check us out. Again, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing some other collabs later on, and we're going to have lots of great content. My show, TSS Fantasy, be the fantasy show of the people. So make sure you check out and subscribe all the great stuff as well. For all of us, to you, enjoy this wonderful American holiday. We appreciate you all, and we are out.
Peace.
Calling